Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the least requested, least demanded, and the least downloaded wrestling podcast, PCW. This could be a long podcast, so strap in and shut up and don't be a little bitch about it.
To the masters. Ruthless aggression. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of PCW. I am your host, Wayne, semi-dry chicken, and you know what? As always, I'm not alone. Let's get this fucking show on the road. Oh, my right-hand man. Dre, what is up?
Yo, what it do, PCL crew? Let's get it. And I guess I did say PCL instead of PCW. That's my bad. Y'all know who y'all people are. We still love you the same.
I love it. All right. And my left-hand man. Doyle, I gave you the whole 30 seconds. Tell us, man.
Old school Wrestlemania. It's me. It's a Doyle. And there's just one question on my mind. I'm sure it's on your guys' mind. Why does Johnny Gargano need a contract for an unsanctioned match?
Oh, we got a lot of questions about Johnny Gargano and why he is where he is now. But we'll get to that later. Well, today, guys, we got a guest. We have a guest. We have that fourth person going to join us in the commentary booth. He hasn't been here for a while, so let's bring him on out.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game. It's all about the game and how you play it. All about control and if you can take it.
Carlos, it's been a long time.
Yeah, unfortunately, life gets in the way.
Yeah, man, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, guys. Can't wait to get back in the groove and talk some wrestling with you guys.
Yeah, we're going to talk some Wrestlemania. Our last episode, we kind of touched on some of the matches they had already and some predictions we had throughout the weeks. And we're going to kind of follow up on that. A lot has been added to the card. We're like less than 2 weeks away. A lot of stuff still could be pinched in there, and we've seen matches being made at the very last minute, and matches get canceled. There's already a feud that we discussed last episode that's already canceled and off the table, and then so many more have been added. So, let's knock some news out of the way. I got some news I want to get out real quick. So, where's that bumper? Okay, I got some crazy news. Crazy to me because when I pulled this up this morning, I kind of laughed out loud at it. Goldberg, his contract is up, right? He's a free agent now. 50-something-year-old Goldberg. If you don't know who Goldberg is, then why are you even listening to my podcast? But there's rumors going around that Tony Khan, AEW, is possibly interested in Goldberg. Guys, do you think Goldberg has any place at all belonging in AEW? Do you think this will elevate them at all? Do you think this will help his career? Is it even worth the money that they're going to be throwing at him? Because you know it's not going to be cheap.
Well, it's Bill Goldberg, so obviously there's always going to be an appeal factor to him because he still is one of the biggest names in the business. So, I mean, I could see he could easily be brought in for an attraction as something to help get AEW's name out there, help get them some headlines, but he shouldn't be looked at as somebody to, you know, carry the company or help move the company forward or elevate them long term, because that's clearly not what Bill Goldberg is anymore. He's not a long term solution to any problem. He's a quick guy you shell a lot of money out for, bring him in, get some headlines, let him squash somebody, and move on. Personally, if it was me, if I was Tony Khan in AEW, I would probably be fine without him. I think you've kind of built your brand in AEW on, you know, on somewhat being kind of anti-WWE, maybe taking the guys that WWE doesn't think have potential and turning them into something, or other wrestlers who aren't as prominently known and making something out of them, building your brand off of that, even though you have kind of signed some big name WWE talent as well, or ex-WWE talent as well. But you kind of built your brand on somewhat of that, you know, being not WWE. Even guys like Jericho who have gone there, who have obviously have long-standing careers with the WWE and built huge legacies there. Even they like to sing the praises of the AEW and things that they're able to get away with and do there that they can't do in the WWE. Some of the freedom that they have that they didn't have in WWE. I don't know where Bill Goldberg helps push that agenda forward, where he helps advance that narrative. So, I mean, if you want to bring him in for a quick cash in, just to grab some quick headlines, sure. But if I'm Tony Khan, I'm probably good on Goldberg. I don't know. If I want to sacrifice somebody on my roster to him.
I think every promoter in the country should be good on Goldberg. Frankly, there's no place for him. I mean, especially at how much money he costs. You know, like the only place in the world I think he fits is Saudi Arabia, where they always have garbage like Bill Goldberg matches. The guy was never a good worker ever, and he's certainly not anymore. what modicum of work rate he ever had is 25 years gone. You know, outside his first run, you know, with the streak up to beating Hogan in the fuck is it? The stadium in Atlanta? What the hell is the Georgia
Dome?
Mm-hmm. Outside of that, has he ever done anything that was worthwhile? I mean, he kicked Bret Hart in the head, and ended his career.
He ended Kevin Owens' Universal title run. He ended Bray Wyatt's Universal title run. He buried guys when he came in. I feel like a lot of guys he buried.
I don't ever need to see him ever again in a ring ever.
Carlos, he's probably Carlos probably has like a Goldberg shirt on right now.
Tony Khan should run away from
No. I mean, right now, AEW's, I think, transitioning right now to promote the other guys, the younger guys. Like from the last week's episode, they brought out the 4 pillars to confront MJF. So maybe if they felt like they needed one more match and bring him in to see what he could do, but he'd have to, like, put someone over, which I doubt he's going to be able to do or want to do.
Like, I don't want to see him come in and bury MJF just so they could slap the title on him and be like, oh yeah, Goldberg once held the AEW World Heavyweight title, like, just for the books. Like, I you know what? If he's going to be beaten, which I doubt it, have somebody like Wardlow fucking beat him.
Yeah, or Hobbs, or anybody on that tier.
Yeah, on that tier, exactly.
Yeah, that would seem to make sense if they wanted to give somebody on their roster the rub from getting a win over Goldberg. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if they would be willing to shell out the money just to have Goldberg take an L. And I don't know that Goldberg would agree to come in and just do a one-time appearance and take an L. Mm-hmm. If he just shows up and immediately loses, I don't know if that does anything for somebody. Mm-hmm. He would still have to squash somebody to kind of establish that he's still Goldberg, quote unquote.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for anybody. I mean, is anybody paying money to see Bill Goldberg in 2023?
No.
No. And I would argue they haven't for the last decade or so. When was his last match? I don't even remember what it was, but I'm sure it was awful.
Yeah, last year at what was it? The Saudi Super Show.
He lost to Roman Reigns, right?
We lost to Roman Reigns, choked him out.
He had that awful match with Undertaker. I remember.
Where he couldn't do the jackhammer on him. And
I try not to remember. Imagine that being the first pay-per-view or match you show your friends that oh man, you should watch wrestling. It's awesome. You show them this match and they're like, what the hell is this? Moving on. Rumors going around that Edge might, after WrestleMania, be trying to form a new brood. I believe after this whole Judgment Day WrestleMania match, I feel like it's over with Judgment Day. But if he would, there's rumors that it could possibly be somebody like Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy, maybe, because right now, which will kind of segue into Bray being considered physically unfit, I guess, or something along those lines. He's not able to compete at WrestleMania. And so what we discussed last episode with him and Bray Wyatt isn't going to happen. Or him and Bobby Lashley, sorry. So,
well, I'm glad he's unable to compete because I would probably be unable to not go to the bathroom while that match was going on.
It's here's how I feel about it. It's I'm upset that he's not going to be at WrestleMania, but I'm not upset that we're not getting the match. It's not like a dream fantasy match. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe we're not getting this. It sucks, and it really sucks for Bobby Lashley. Out of all people, I mean, yeah, it sucks for Bray and us fans, but Bobby's kind of shit out of luck because, as far as I know, there's still no plans on the table for Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, he kind of is the man out of the country, and you don't even have a battle royal you can stick him in.
As far as we know, there's not an Andre the Giant battle royal. I don't even know if they're doing it this year. It's not even listed.
Doesn't appear to be.
The tag matches take the place, kind of.
Yeah. So, I mean, if Edge ends up forming a new brood, and he takes his character a little darker, because obviously he formed the Judgment Day, and then he got booted from his own fucking club. So, maybe that's what Bray needs to be more grounded. He needs to be put under the wing of somebody like Edge. I really don't know. I guess a lot of people don't know what's really going on. It's kind of a wait and see kind of situation. I mean, have you guys heard of anything that's going on with Bray as of thus far?
As far as Bray goes, no, I haven't heard of anything other than the fact that he just hasn't been at a few shows and that they're saying it's some sort of physical issue.
Right, they're keeping it under a tight lid.
And that his WrestleMania is under question. Regarding that, the only person I feel bad for is Bobby Lashley, and the fact that he's now, like y'all said, a man on an island with potentially nothing to do at WrestleMania unless they throw some match together at the last minute, or they somehow maybe rework the Lesnar Omos match and somehow find a way to get Lashley in that in some way, shape, or form. That maybe if not in the match, but something, so that way he still appears at the show or what have you. But that's the only person I feel bad for in that, because Bobby Lashley deserves to be on a show of this magnitude. He's one of your top stars and one of your top performers in the company. He deserves to be on this show. And for him to be,
I'm sorry.
For him to be all potentially left out of the show because of his opponent, not trying to cast any aspersions on Bray Wyatt. Obviously, we don't know the reasoning behind his absence, but for that to be the reason that you miss out on the show and miss out on that paycheck as well, that kind of sucks for him. On the Edge front, I take that as nothing more than the whole possibility of him reforming a Brood. I take that as nothing more than just pure rumor and speculation and just people seeing this whole Edge doing the Brood thing for WrestleMania and just basically fan fictioning some possibilities and just throwing them out there. Right. I don't think that's going to happen. It makes no sense for that to happen. There's no reason for it to happen. It would honestly feel like it would feel like, oh, Judgment Day. I tried to form a group, Judgment Day. That didn't work. Well, let me reform a group and call it the Brood. Go back on the old nostalgia thing. Like, that's not going to work either. It makes even less sense to put Bray Wyatt in it because Bray Wyatt is not an underling. So why would he's never been really an underling. So why would he suddenly be an underling to Edge? Plus, the Brood was not really Edge's group. It was Gangrel's group.
Right.
Edge was a member of it. So again, still makes no sense. Honestly, I think that's just some fan out there just spitballing shit just to get people talking. I put no weight on that rumor or speculation whatsoever.
Yeah, I hope that as far as Bobby goes, maybe he gets the Seth Rollins last year treatment where he goes out and says like, I don't have a match at WrestleMania. I'm Bobby Lashley. Like, what the fuck, And maybe somebody that was going to debut on the Raw after WrestleMania, maybe they bump it up. Maybe it's Braun Breaker or Carmelo Hayes or maybe a returning Zack Ryder or somebody like that. That might be the only way to salvage something for Bobby. But yeah, Edge, despite I was going to talk about this when we talk about the match, but that promo was great. I think 100% we're going to see Brood Edge. But we just saw Brood Edge not that long ago.
Yeah, it was like SummerSlam, I think.
It was like day one or so. Remember, it was like 15 months ago or so. We saw Brood Edge do the fire entrance and all that. So, like, is it really that special? I don't know. But I think 100% we're going to get Brood Edge, and I have really no interest in seeing a Brood going forward. Yeah, he wasn't the leader of the Brood. They've already they've already did the new Brood, remember, with the Hardys. So I don't know now that we need to rehash that yet again. So I don't want to see that, and I hope we don't.
Carlos.
Yeah, I don't think that it would be Edge as Brood Edge, just because it wasn't like anything that was kind of like, I guess, supernatural, besides them being, like everyone's been saying, like followers of Gangrel. So he did mention in that promo that the devil's coming. So is he going to be taking a page out of MJF's book and come out with a devil persona? Yeah. To combat the demon of Finn Balor? I don't know, but I just have to see, because that Brood, as much as it was like, I guess, edgy at the time, pushing vampirism or cultish stuff out there, it really wasn't like that hardcore, if you really think about it. It was just little vignettes, them in the dark, Gangrel holding chalice full of blood, quote unquote, and that was it. I mean, there was nothing else that I can think of that made it seem like anything that could be similar to like whatever not whatever, but what Finn Balor does with his entrance. It's the paint, but he also puts in like the certain type of movements. The movements are different, so it's more theatrical, and you actually kind of buy that he's gone to another plane and he's, communicating with the demon and things like that. But with Edge or as Brood Edge goes, I've never gotten anything where it's like something different than what we have now. So I think maybe, if anything, he should have gone with his best one, which is Rated R Edge.
Yeah, I like that version of Edge the best. And I know Doyle loves Edge, right?
Yeah. He had a great promo on Monday, but yeah,
he did,
I don't really love Edge that much.
Rumor that, well, not rumor, I saw that they will be changing Butch's name back to Pete Dunne. Finally. Let's hope some other goofy names get changed back. Slowly, things are changing more and more in the company now that Triple H is in charge. I say that with a question mark. Because is he really? Also, Ronda Rousey will be indefinitely out of WrestleMania. She had an arm injury. That sucks. Because it looks like they were building her and Shayna. I hadn't heard
that. I was expecting to see her and Shayna in that women's four-way. I hadn't heard that. She's out.
Yeah, you know what, though? I kind of bought it at first. I was kind of like, oh, I guess she's really hurt? Because I thought it was a work. And then, I bought it.
Yeah,
I guess she's really
I thought
hurt.
they were going to and win.
Yeah, so unless something happens in the next, I doubt it, 2 weeks, but she sounds like she's out, and that's another person, Shayna Baszler could also be, shit out of luck for WrestleMania. What other quick stuff I want to run by here? People who aren't on the WrestleMania card, who we could possibly see the Monday after. I'm just going to rattle off some names here, because there's actually quite a bit. Sometimes these wrestlers are gone for such a long time due to an injury or something personal, and we kind of put them off of our radar. We kind of forget about them. So the Monday after Raw, we might get some call-ups, like maybe Braun Breaker or Carmelo Hayes might come up from NXT. But we got people coming back from injury. Where's Tommaso Ciampa been? What about, is Big E cleared yet to return? What about Matt Riddle? Randy Orton, Alexa Bliss. Where the hell has Shinsuke Nakamura been? Bobby Roode. Still iffy, but, Naomi, could she make a return? You mentioned it earlier, Matt Cardona. I mean, there's rumors that he's indefinitely coming back. I could see that after WrestleMania. How much longer until we get Pat McAfee to come back? I personally miss Pat McAfee.
Jay White's name a lot.
Jay White. I've been hearing a lot about Jay White, and I personally don't know a lot about Jay White as a wrestler, so for me it'd be something new and exciting. There's also talks about them maybe wanting to bring back the Authors of Pain, AOP, back. I don't know if you guys heard any other rumors, or did I miss anybody that could possibly be injured or out that we haven't seen in a while? Where have they been? Are they even still working for the company? Anybody? Nothing. Okay, so it's just
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, you guys haven't. I mean, like you said, Jay White, Doyle, but you guys haven't. I haven't seen anything else. But these are just off the top of my head. I'm kind of thinking of. Who knows? Because that's what I'm always trying to predict is who's going to come back after WrestleMania? Who's been out long? Who's been medically cleared? But creative kind of has nothing for them until after WrestleMania.
Sure, well, that's kind of like a thing now. Andrew.
It is.
Become the Raw after WrestleMania. They hype it up it's the Raw after WrestleMania.
Exactly. So I don't want to
kind of happen organically, but
I don't want to shadow that. I want to talk about that too, because that's a big night. I mean, yeah, it's exhausting because we've gone through the Hall of Fame. We've gone through night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania, and then they're going to throw Raw the very next night. And, some of us will end up sounding like Dre by the end of the night with the raspy voice because we've been screaming all night, So, those are some of the wrestlers I would like to see back, especially Like, there's gonna be a big pop if especially for me, like if Big E returns. Pat McAfee. Like, I just like to see some of these guys back in the company.
I think the people who could return and probably receive the biggest pops would be probably Randy Orton and definitely Big E. Mm-hmm. I don't know where Big E's at in terms of his neck injury. I would be surprised if he's fully recovered after just a year. Honestly, I could see him maybe being brought back on television in some sort of non-wrestling capacity. That I could see happening. Maybe, especially with Kofi being down, I think they might struggle to. It might be difficult having Xavier try to carry on the New Day thing just by himself. But then again, they could just sideline the entire group and with Kofi being down and just give Big E more time to recover. So if there were, and that's assuming that there were any plans to bring Big E back in the first place, they may just postpone all of that until Kofi is able to recover from his leg injury and then save it for there. Randy Orton, he seems to have looked better in recent weeks in some photos he's shown on social media. So he could be primed for a return if he's up for it and in condition. But it also requires them to have some sort of storyline or something for him to do when he comes back, other than just being, a fan favorite. Which last we saw him, his partner was Matt Riddle, who has been out of action for a few months now with his personal issues. So we don't know what his status is either. So I think both of them would probably be the biggest names you could see, but I think both of their statuses are up in the air for numerous reasons. Aside from them, only other things I could think of, I would be more inclined to think we would see some NXT call-ups after WrestleMania than maybe other like injured stars or people from outside the company. I think maybe like a Braun Breaker, he's got to be due for a for a main roster call up at some point. And maybe I forgot the other guy's name that I've heard recently. But yeah,
Carmelo?
Who?
Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, I believe that's the guy.
Yeah. I feel like after that feud that they're having, whatever guy doesn't come out on top, I feel like that's going to be the next guy to the main roster. I mean, that's kind of how it works. Kind of. Not all the time, but...
Yeah, that could go either way, too. I mean, Braun Breaker's had that title forever. But you could also see Carmelo Hayes losing and still getting called up. Mm-hmm. So it could go either way.
Will we get another Gable Stevenson sighting at WrestleMania?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know about that. Why not, right?
Because he hasn't been on NXT, so is he not ever going to get into that pool? And
Gable Stevenson?
Yeah.
I think he's still in college. He's still doing the NCAA thing, and he may be looking to give it one more go at the Olympics in 24. So
okay, I didn't know.
Honestly, Gable Stevenson is one of those guys that I think they just kind of hyped up way too early because they were trying to launch that they were trying to launch their development program, not the NXT one, but their other little development thing, and he was their face of it, their highlight of it, because he had just won the Olympic medals, and they did that. But I feel like they pulled that trigger a little too early because they have done absolutely nothing with it since. So at this point, he's not. Gable Stevens is the person that's not even on my radar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, God, we haven't seen him for quite some time. He made his first appearance April 2022. Yeah, WrestleMania 38. Oh, jeez, I haven't seen him in a hot minute because he was part of the 2021 draft. Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know when he's going to be coming back. I mean, is he even still technically, I guess, technically signed?
Yeah, he's still signed.
Yeah, he's technically signed, but he's also, again, not really a WWE superstar either.
Yeah, he hasn't
wrestled. He hasn't had any matches. He was just a name to promote their program, and he's kind of, I guess, been off and on with that, but last I heard, he's still mostly focused on his collegiate career. Mm-hmm. And I think either going back for one more year of collegiate wrestling, and then again, also maybe the Olympics in 2024. So again, I wouldn't look for him in the WWE anytime soon, honestly.
Yeah, he's only 22.
He's got a long ways to go.
And he signed a 3-year deal in 2021, which would make him eligible for the Olympics still in 2024 if he ran out the contract, which I guess only has a year on it now, maybe less. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? They wanted to ride the hype that they thought they had with him, and I think it was kind of not everything's going to be a home run. You got to just chalk it up.
Yeah, I mean,
if maybe someday down the road they get something out of the kid, doesn't look like it, but you never know. Maybe the kid goes to the Olympics and wins, and you can get that hype train rolling again. I would expect to see him for quite a while.
Right. Yeah. Maybe they thought when they signed him that he would be all in on WWE, and it turned out that maybe that was not the case as they thought. And he was actually more focused on his actual wrestling career. So we'll just push maybe their timeline further out than they anticipated. But again, until I actually see him do something with WWE, he's not even on my radar.
Agreed.
All right. Let's talk about the 2023 Hall of Fame this year. So far we have Rey Mysterio and the Great Muta going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame this year. I feel like Batista was supposed to be in the other year. And I think because of COVID, he decided to pull out. He wanted to do one in front of a live crowd, which I get. But, I think it was also, the Bellas that were in that, too. The
Garcias.
The Garcias, yes, that's right. The Garcias out there. They're no longer the Bellas. But they still haven't been... I thought they would just kept the same class for this year. I guess they're not going in yet. So I don't know when Batista's going in. But yeah, Rey Mysterio. We will talk about him a little bit later. The Great Muta. But also the newest person being inducted into the celebrity wing is Andy Kaufman. And I am going to segue this into the More You Know segment with Doyle. There you go, Doyle.
Yeah, so, kind of beyond being an anti-comedy legend, which Andy Kaufman certainly was, he did weird shit. He would pack a comedy club to see him do stand-up comedy and just start reading The Great Gatsby until everybody left. Just kind of weird shit. And I think that kind of style of comedy maybe has evolved into maybe a Tim and Eric kind of thing, as we would know today. But the other week on the program, we were talking about celebrities in wrestling and maybe taking spots away from some of the young guys on the card or whatever. But actually, the godfather of celebrities in wrestling is probably Andy Kaufman. He was a big star at the time. He was on Saturday Night Live. He was on Taxi. That's where I knew him from as a little kid. That was probably the first place I ever saw him. So real weird when in 1982 he started as part of his weird act was he would be the intergender world champion where he would wrestle women in while wearing long johns. Real weird act, but he wanted to break in with one of the territories. Now, this is still 1982, right? So this is 3 years before WrestleMania 1. This is before WWF has even left the NWA. Vince Jr. hasn't even bought the company yet from Vince Sr. And Andy Kaufman actually went to Vince Sr. And said, hey, I want to do this act. I want to do it on your show in the New York territory. And Vince Sr. turned him down. I think he was afraid it would expose the business, right? So eventually Andy meets Bill Apter, who is kind of like the inventor of the dirt sheets, for lack of a better word. And Apter introduces him to Jerry Lawler, who is running the United States, the Continental Wrestling Association, which becomes the United States Wrestling Association later. Anyway, and the rest is history. They have a series of matches, but it leads up to an appearance on the David Letterman program, which is probably the most mainstream coverage professional wrestling had ever had up until that point. And maybe you could argue still to this day, because being on the Letterman show was huge back then. But it does kind of beg the question, why now? Is it just because they're in Hollywood? And who should induct him? It should be Jerry Lawler by all rights, but is he well enough to do it? I hope he is, but maybe he's not. So maybe they should have done this years ago or next year when Lawler's maybe a little better. But if Lawler can't do it, maybe they're going for an even bigger name. Maybe they're going for Jim Carrey, who played Andy Kaufman in the movie Man on the Moon, which is a pretty awesome movie, by the way. I think it would be funny if his comedy alter ego, Tony Clifton, was the one to induct him. But another thing, if you notice, when they made the announcement on Raw, they didn't show any footage. That's because nobody really knows who owns the Andy Kaufman, Jerry Lawler footage. It certainly isn't the WWE unless it is, and that's why they're doing it now, and they're going to announce that they've bought all that Memphis catalog, and they're going to start putting up on the network all those old Memphis shows, which actually would be really cool. Now, unfortunately, just 2 years later, at the age of 35, Andy Kaufman passed away from lung cancer. The man never smoked a cigarette in his life. I'm sorry to bring the mood down for just a second. Lung cancer is my least favorite topic. Both my parents passed away from lung cancer. So, as we know, cancer is the number 2 killer in the United States, and out of the cancers, lung cancer is the number 1 killer, accounting for about 25% of all deaths. But less than 5% of people that are eligible get screened. And lung cancer, unfortunately, is one of those things where once you're showing symptoms, you're already at stage 3 or 4, and there's not a lot they can do for you at that point. So, when you're eligible, it's usually age 50, 55, please get screened for lung cancer. And that is all I'm going to say.
I feel like we all learned something today.
I hope so.
I'm loving this new corner, man, that you got, the Doyle corner, you know? little knowledge here, a little bit of Snapple facts. But yeah, if you haven't seen Man on the Moon, like, seriously go and watch it. Like, it's such a good movie, especially, you know, if you're a wrestling fan. It's such a good movie to watch, and a Jim Carrey fan.
I think Andy Kaufman would have been delighted to be recognized in a Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yes, absolutely. All right. With that said, we are going to wrap that up, and we are going to take a quick break here, and then we are going to roll in to WrestleMania. So, without said,
Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Oh, it's true. It's damn true. Shut up, bitch! Oh, my God!
Yeah, we're back. We're back. Yeah, let's just roll right into this here. I'm just gonna name off some of the matches that they have listed here. And you know what? We're gonna talk about kind of how you guys feel about the build-up for some of these matches. You know what? Let's start small here. I see here we got Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders in a men's Wrestlemania showcase fatal 4-way tag team match. That is a mouthful. I guess this is a good way to get all those tag teams that didn't make it to go against the Usos. Like I said earlier, there doesn't seem to be a battle royal on this card this year, which I don't know if anybody can remember. Did we have an Andre the Giant battle royal last year?
I don't remember.
I don't think
either.
we had one.
It's been a hot minute.
I think there was like the first 2 years when they introduced it.
Yeah,
and then I don't remember anything else because it was the Big Show and was Cesaro, and I think that
Cesaro.
was it.
Yeah. Okay. So I got here. Started in April 6th, 2014. Ended April 1st, 2022. Winners were Cesaro, Big Show, Baron Corbin, Mojo Rawley, Matt Hardy, Braun Strowman, Jey Uso, and the last person to win, Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss closing.
Wow.
Yeah, that was last year, so we could technically still get one. It's just not on the list. But those names, did that?
It would be like all goons and Bobby Lashley.
It's like it didn't elevate any of those guys' careers. I feel like it did nothing for them. You know what I mean? The trophy was way too fucking big to carry around. So it's not like you'd be strutting it around like you're King of the Ring. King of the Ring kind of there's guys who've done King of the Ring for a whole year, that gimmick. But you can't do the Andre the Giant Battle Royal champion for a year, right? You can't be looking around that statue.
What if it's your tag team partner? So it's you and the Andre the Giant statue.
Oh, there you go. That's a good idea. But yeah, I don't see that on the card, and that's normally a filler to get everybody who's not on the card to get a paycheck. Let's throw them all in the battle royal.
But I guess they're just using these tag matches to kind of do that.
It seems like it. They're using these tag matches to kind of cushion the blow here because, the recently formed Braun Strowman and Ricochet tag team, which, by the way, I didn't think I was going to like it at first, but the more and more I've been watching it, I'm like, you know what? Ricochet's doing something, and you know what? Screw it. Leave Braun in tag team. I don't know if anybody saw recently Braun Strowman try to do a kip-up the other day on a house show, and somebody got it on camera, and it didn't go so well. He's no Shawn Michaels. He's no Drew McIntyre,
And fall down.
Yeah.
Credit to Strowman and Ricochet that they're at least putting the work in to make themselves come off as a legit tag team with some combination maneuvers and such. So at least they're putting in the work for it. The Andre the Giant Battle Royal, I'm good with it not being on the show. Honestly, I never really cared for it in the first place. So if they decide to move on from that, I'm good with it. Honestly, to me, it was like a meaningless Royal. It was like a meaningless Wish.com version of the Royal Rumble. So, we don't need that. So I'm good without it. These tag teams, it just seems like, an excuse to get more guys on the card, fill out the time, and help these guys get a check because they don't have anything else for them. The fact that they call it a WrestleMania showcase match and not a number one contenders match just kind of goes to show just how meaningless the match is. The fact that it has absolutely no stakes to it whatsoever. It's literally just a match.
Sort of on the level of the championship.
Right?
Not even a little bit.
No.
Yeah.
They just throw the word showcase in there, you know?
Right. Like, it's just a match. Like, here, y'all go out there and do a spot fest for, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. It seems like something we just see on Raw, right?
Yeah. Now, maybe they could use the matches up to advance some storylines, maybe post WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Maybe if they wanted, like, something happens in this match to possibly set up the end of the Street Profits and Montez Ford going in separate ways. Maybe there's something there. Because who this is it? Street Profits. You said Alpha Academy's in the match?
Yeah, Alpha Academy. That's another one that's kind of teetering.
Now, given how that storyline's gone, I can see some developments happening there between Otis and Chad Gable. Mm-hmm. I can see some developments happening there, but outside of that, there really isn't much entry to this match other than seeing what developments could happen within certain tag teams that have individuals that we know are slated for solo runs, and that being Montez Ford and Chad Gable. Outside of that,
Yeah, I mean, I think my assumption is whoever wins this is probably going to be the first challengers to whoever comes out on top as the tag team champs at the end of WrestleMania. They'll probably lose. Let's face it. But I feel like Braun Strowman and Ricochet, that it seems like this might be something like they'd win. We could see, yeah, you're right, other minor storylines here. Doyle, what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just an excuse to get everybody on the card without doing a battle royal, I guess. I had read that they were trimming the fat a little bit. The WWE was on WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. They're doing instead of having, remember they make a big show of there's 40 different announce tables. I think they're doing a lot of that stuff remote this year, trying to kind of trimming some of the fat, and maybe some of that fat trimming is not giving the WrestleMania payday to 40 people. Over the course of 2 battle royals, just to get somebody a quote unquote WrestleMania payday. Maybe they're just not doing that this year. So yeah, I mean, and as far as the women's match goes, we've only got one participant, so who knows what's going on with that. I thought it was going to be Ronda and Shayna, but you told me that Ronda's hurt, and I didn't know that. But yeah, I mean, this is just they can't all be the main event either. You got to have some filler kind of matches. You got to have some, you can't have that. The crowd's not going to have that adrenaline going, for a solid 4 or 5 hours. There's got to be downers. And unfortunately for the participants in both of these matches, these are going to be 2 of the downer matches, I think. But they could still be exciting. You never know.
Yeah, they could definitely be exciting. I mean, they've got the performers for it. I could easily see something like this. These will probably be the matches that kick off each night if they don't burn them both on night one. I could see them kicking off, maybe night one with the women's 4-way tag match and kicking off night 2 with the men's 4-way tag match.
Yeah, I can see them on different nights.
Yeah, like they've got the performers to do it. I mean, Ricochet, Montez, Chad Gable with his power moves. Braun Strowman's always good for a pop whenever he finally gets in the ring and gets to throwing people around. So sure, it'll be something that they can do to help get the crowd fired up.
It's true. Good way to kick off the show too, I guess. Carlos, anything to input here?
Yeah, just like Dre and Doyle said, it's like they needed to get some of these people in there because you got some of these superstars or that you would want to see. Who wouldn't want to see the Street Profits, especially the way Montez has been performing lately? And, people always pop for Braun. and I know Doyle wouldn't enjoy WrestleMania if we didn't get a shush in there. So I mean, it had to happen, and it could either kick off a Mania or it could be like a cool down match after either like an hour or 2 hours in, give people a break and maybe set up something else.
All right. Well, like we said, women also have a similar match. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are the only tag team on the card so far for the Women's WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. My assumption, maybe another tag team we could get is maybe the new tag team of Carmella and Chelsea Green. I really don't know, because that's one thing that we're kind of lacking right now is women's tag teams. I mean, I assume Ronda and Shayna would have been in that and possibly just wreaked havoc. I can't think off the top of my head what other tag teams we get. Maybe an NXT tag team even. But there's plenty of women who are just sitting back there who have nothing to do. I'm sure Natalya will probably be one of them. Maybe Lacey Evans. Who knows? I mean, as of now, I would assume that, considering that they're the only ones in the match, they might be the ones who might end up winning. Whatever other teams they pick maybe wasn't decided early on to be the winning factor here. But, I mean, any other teams you guys can think of that they could throw in here? I mean, we got 3 spots.
I mean, I had heard that the rumor early on was going to be, I think Natalya and Shotzi were supposed to get in, and Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler were going to get in, and I think, Chelsea Green and Carmella were supposed to get in. Carmella hasn't been on TV recently, which is why they threw Chelsea Green with Piper Niven this past Monday on Raw. So I don't know if Piper Niven could be taking Carmella's place in the match come WrestleMania. I still think Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler will probably end up in the match if Ronda can go at all in any way, shape, or form. I know there's rumor that she may have been re-aggravated an arm injury she's been dealing with, but I think she's gonna probably do her best to get as well as she can for WrestleMania, and they'll be in that match. And being in a match with 7 other women competing is a good way to mask an injury and have her do just enough for them to probably end up winning the match. So honestly, in my mind is that they're still probably going to go that route unless there's just absolutely zero chance, zero way that Ronda Rousey can compete. If there's any way she can compete at all, I think they'll get them in that match, and that'll be a way for them to kind of squash all the other ones and get the win. And, that'll be their, I guess, coming out as a legit tag team moving forward past WrestleMania.
Doyle.
I'm sorry, I kind of talked about both of them at the same time last time I was talking about the men's match. Anyway, this is kind of a nothing burger. Who cares? They're
right.
Not defending, it's not for the number one contention. They're not even defending the titles on the show. So who gives a shit about women's tag team wrestling right now? Unless you give me a reason, I'm not going to care.
Yeah.
You're not wrong at all.
Yeah, that's so true. Carlos.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like there's no stakes. It's a showcase. So I guess this is more special than any other regular matches. Are they going to be performing any type of tricks? Because isn't a match where you showcase your skills anyway? So
right,
it's like one of those things. It's like you needed to put this match in, so I guess we're gonna get it.
Yeah, whether we like it or not. So, All right, moving on. I think we kind of predicted this. Well, I definitely wanted this match. Gunther versus Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. I wanted a match where we got fucking three big dudes, three meaty guys beating the shit out of each other. You know what? Everybody has something to win here. Gunther can continue that Intercontinental streak he has going. I mean, one of the longest in the past decade for sure. Drew McIntyre finally winning a title in front of fans instead of on the Thunderdome, and Sheamus, finally getting that Grand Slam. This would be great. So, I mean, all three of these guys. I mean, it sucks that the rest of the, Ridge Holland, I think his name is, and Pete Dunne, they have kind of nothing else going on for them. They did have a recent Wrestlemania commercial, if anybody saw it. It was based off of 40-Year-Old Virgin, which was kind of funny, actually. I kind of enjoyed
I didn't see it. It was a funny segment.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. The person that they chose, I kind of don't want to spoil it, but the person that they chose to get, they did the waxing scene where they're waxing each other's chest, and who they chose, I was kind of shocked who it was out of the four of them. But yeah, it was pretty good.
That confused the shit out of me, because I thought it was a segment at first.
Oh, really?
It wasn't immediately clear to me, anyway, that it was a bit like that. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I figured it out. Once the chest hair came out,
it's like WWE. It's like they would do that kind of shit, we saw somebody give birth to a hand once, right. They would do crazy shit like that. But yeah, I'm pretty psyched for this match. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know who they're going to have win. I honestly could say for the first time, it could go either way. And I'd be fine either way. I just want to see a good match. And I do like triple threat matches because, it's always like that close call. You always get that pin. Sometimes you get a little bit of alliance. But I do like triple threat matches. And I think these are three right guys to do an Intercontinental Championship match. Dre.
Oh yeah, this match can absolutely be a show stealer of a match with these three freaking masses of men just colliding in the ring, throwing everything they've got at each other. Oh yeah, I have high hopes for this match. I think it's going to be a really good one. It'll be the proverbial slobber knocker. From my money is probably on Gunther retaining the title. They'll give him his first WrestleMania win because he was not on the card last year, correct? I believe Gunther debuted after WrestleMania last year.
Yeah, I think it may have been
Am
after.
I not mistaken?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was one of the ones who debuted after WrestleMania last year, quickly won the IC title, and has pretty much held it since. So, yeah, I could see him getting the win in his WrestleMania debut in a hell of a match. Also, last time we saw him on pay-per-view, he took the Elder Cody at the Rumble. So I don't think they want to give him two back-to-back, quote, L's on pay-per-views. So my money's on him winning and retaining the IC title, and probably drop it at some later point as he moves into the eventual main event scene. But yeah, I think this is going to be a great match, and it has the potential to steal the show if it's on night one. We don't know which night it's going to actually be on, but this has show stealing potential.
That's true. Doyle.
Yeah, Wayne, you said this is one of the longest reigns in a decade. It's the longest reign since 1988. Almost
Give the
about
stats.
55 years. Actually, tomorrow, Gunther will tie Greg the Hammer Valentine for third longest IC title reign at 285. Macho Man is second with 414, and of course you got the Honky Tonk Man out there with 454 days. And I'm thinking they've come this far with Gunther. Maybe they might want to get the Honky Tonk Man's name out of the record books. And it's only what, 70 days. So he only really needs to hang on to the title for another 3 or 4 months. I think that's totally doable. As much as I would love to see Sheamus win it and get the one title that's eluded him, because I love Sheamus. But I think they want to have Gunther become the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, and then I think that'll make it that much better when he loses it. And make him that much more credible when he levels up finally into the main event scene. But I gotta say, I wish this was a 3-way dance instead of a triple threat match. I think that would be so much better if it was elimination style, where it was a 2-fall match. Where somebody has a fall and they get eliminated, and then it's 1-on-1. I think that would just add a much better dynamic, maybe make it a little different than this formulaic triple threat rather, that we always get, where you got somebody goes out for, and 2 guys go at it, then the guy that's out comes in and breaks up the pin, and then somebody else goes out, and just over and over and over and over. So I think a 3-way dance would kind of switch it up a little bit, but I still expect this to be a banger, and I think Gunther's going to retain.
Mm-hmm. Carlos.
Yeah, this is one of the matches I'm actually looking forward to, just because of the whole, Sheamus, the chase for being one of those Grand Slam championships, a title he has never held, and just Drew McIntyre finally being able to get that chance to finally win the title with people in the audience. And those guys, they've worked with each other for so long, they know how to fight with each other and fight against each other. And then Gunther has been coming into his own, not only with that, with his promos, but also like his actual performance in the ring. So it's going to be interesting. And I actually think that it would have to be Gunther that retains, just because what do you do either way with that? Because if you take the belt off of him, then you definitely have to start that push against the Universal. If Cody does end up winning against Roman, or if it becomes like a split later on along the line, you got to start thinking about those type of storylines too. So just because I don't think he's ready to face Cody or Roman like so soon after a WrestleMania is the reason why I think Gunther will retain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point that you bring up, the fact that if they do take the title off of Gunther, then where does he go from here? The only logical step would be to put him in the main event title scene, and yeah, it does seem too soon for him to do that, because you're not going to have Gunther lose the IC title and then immediately take down a freshly crowned Cody Rhodes as, the undisputed champion. Mm-hmm. So clearly that's not going to happen. So, and you don't want to have Gunther take 2 L's back to back like that either, like dropping the title and then having a failed world title attempt, because then that just makes him look weak as well. So yeah, all signs point towards Gunther retaining. And for what it's worth, I do think Sheamus is going to be the one to eventually defeat Gunther for the title and get that Grand Slam. It's just not going to happen at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, you leave the title on Gunther for like 6 months. You put some daylight between him and the Honky Tonk Man. You make the guy that beats him look like a fucking beast. And you make him a credible threat to any world champion, no matter who it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it accomplishes a lot.
Right.
Makes sense.
And there's I think there's been talk that WWE wants to do more international shows. They may do another PLE somewhere in the UK this year as well. That could be prime setting for Sheamus to get that to finally get that Grand Slam win.
Oh, yeah, he'll do it eventually. I mean, I don't think he's retiring anytime soon, so he'll eventually get it. Yeah, but I just don't. I don't think it'll be now.
I'm excited. I think I'm gonna pop like hell though if it does happen. He does get it because I mean, think about that on WrestleMania on the stage. That's a great place to get it though.
Yeah, I mean, I love Shane. I'll be happy as a pig and shit if he wins. But
yeah,
I love Gunther too. So I don't,
Well, let's move on here to Bianca Belair versus Asuka. Now, a lot has. How am I gonna put this? A lot has changed over the past few weeks of my excitement for this match because it seems that the build-up for this feud has been boring, if I can say so. You know what I mean? Like, we're doing this whole let's put them on a tag team together. Can they coexist? Can WrestleMania, opponents coexist as tag team partners just weeks before? I really hate when they do that trope, but here we are. Unfortunately, it had to be Asuka and Bianca. I don't understand what's going on with this feud. It just seems very, very boring.
It seems to me like WWE saw the pop that Asuka got when she excuse me. It seems like they saw the pop that she got when she returned with the face and the new look, and they kind of hesitated. Like they were initially planning to make her a heel, but once they saw that she kind of got a positive reaction, they were kind of thinking maybe they would make her a face. So they hesitated, and it seems like that has really hurt this feud with them wavering in terms of excuse me. Yeah, with them wavering and hesitating in terms of what direction they wanted to go with Asuka. It seems like it kind of held the feud back from really ramping up and proceeding as it naturally should have been with Asuka being the heel and Bianca being the face. But they finally pulled the trigger with it this past week. But my fear is that it's too little too late. And how do you really generate real buzz for this match with 1 week to go?
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. Doyle.
Yeah, I agree. My immediate thought was, we're going to turn Asuka heel. I hadn't really even thought about, she got such a pop when she changed up the makeup that they came, we can't turn her heel now. They definitely waited too long, I think. I was looking forward to this match, and I think as far as the match goes, it'll be good. Good to really good. But as far as the story goes, I don't really care that much. I thought for sure Bianca was due to lose the belt and maybe have a fresh coat of paint, either a repackaging or a heel turn or something. But the more I think about it, she's got this reality show coming up. She's has become the longest reigning black singles champion in company history at 355 days, which is awesome, surpassing MVP's U.S. title run, believe it or not. So that's awesome. Let her fucking run with it for a long time. The same thing kind of I said with Gunther. Give her 6 more months with the title, whatever, and it'll just make whoever beats him that much more of a big deal. It'll continue to make her a big deal. She'll be champion while they're filming this reality show that they're doing. I think they probably want to have that as part of it, the championship, blah, blah, blah. And maybe they'll make her losing it part of the show. I don't know. But yeah, I thought for sure Asuka would win when she won. But when she won the Royal Rumble, I thought for sure she was going to win. Oh no, sorry, she didn't win the Royal Rumble. Never mind. When Asuka won the Elimination Chamber, I thought for sure she was going to beat Bianca. But I do not think that anymore. I think Bianca's going to win.
Carlos.
Yeah, as much as I am a fan of Asuka, this like we Dre pointed out, this feud has been very, 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 very boring, unfortunately. And it's not any fault of Asuka or Bianca. It's just that I don't know if the writer's going to think of a good angle, because Asuka does speak English. It's not like perfect type of English where you don't notice an accent, but she can speak English and she can do a promo, but without her given that freedom to do so, or them trusting her to go out there and try to win one over or win a crowd over, it's been kind of like one of those one-sided things where Bianca has to do the work, but I don't think Bianca has all that experience or maybe the confidence from Hunter, from somebody, one of the writers or whoever's helping them out with this feud, to go out there and carry her part. You know, just like how we've had examples in the past where Kevin Owens and Stone Cold, pretty much it was just like Kevin Owens hyping up that for the last 2 weeks, that build up to WrestleMania, and then we didn't think we'd get a match, and then boom, the day of, we get an impromptu match. And it just, those things that you can do with people who are confident in their skills and trust each other to do that. And I don't think these two ladies have had that rapport with each other long enough to have one realize that the other person isn't strong enough somewhere to, carry that feud. And as much as, I'm very impressed with Bianca, especially what she did on Monday night, where she had Piper Niven on her back from the turnbuckle and carried her to the center of the ring and did her finisher. And, she has skills, but she needs to work on them, and just to be able to build not only her persona and her, add more to her repertoire as, the person who can carry the ball and go with it no matter what people put in front of her, and she can carry the franchise or carry the brand that she's on to, getting them pay-per-view buys, getting those ticket buys and things like that.
Well, I think Bianca has kind of shown that over the last year as the champion, that she can definitely carry the ball and do what needs to be done. I mean, she's cut quality promos on mics and done all of that. Again, like I said, I just think they kind of hesitated when they saw Asuka getting pops in the ring, and then they were unsure of what direction to go. Now, maybe they may still decide to go after WrestleMania, and with Asuka being a full-on heel, I do think Bianca's going to retain the title, because it kind of doesn't make much sense at all for her to lose the title in a feud that has had very little to no build-up to it. So it doesn't make sense for her to drop the title again. Also, the reality show factor that Doyle brought up. But maybe post-WrestleMania, maybe they lean into it. Maybe I can see this feud continuing past WrestleMania. Given that it's had very little build-up, very little story direction in it whatsoever, and there really isn't anyone else for Bianca to face as well. So I could see them maybe extending this for a month or two past this show, furthering Asuka as a heel character, and giving the writing team some time to actually develop this feud, because it seems like right now they've put more of their energy into Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair than they are in this match. So,
yeah, I just hope they don't overbook the hell out of this thing, like get in a great mood involved in it somehow, or something fucking stupid like that. I just hope they stick to a match and not give Asuka superpowers or some dumbass shit like that. I just hope they play it straight.
Yeah, it's definitely something that either it's gonna get a clean finish, or is going to get, one of those controversial ones where it's like no finish and then you get the continuation. If this continues to go, if they figure out something within the next week or maybe during that match, and they call the audible and they're like, "Hey, we got the way this story's going, or we got something cooking," they could probably drag this out into SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be. They have to find a way. They have to find someone who's going to be doing who's either they're going to go and do the back and forth, or Bianca's got to take the lead. And the only way that's going to happen is if she goes heel. And I don't know how they want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've said before, that's the only thing she lacks, I think, is just her, and it just because the sample size is so small. She just lacks that variety. We haven't seen her do anything other than the EST swing the hair around gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
We need to see her mature. I'm gonna want to see a heel turn out of her, and then back to face. And then maybe back again.
Right.
And that's what'll put her. And if she does that successfully, she might be a Mount Rushmore type of person, because she's got everything. She's really one of the greatest women wrestlers of all time, or she's on track to be, rather.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would put her over the edge if she can go back and forth a couple times believably. She's an all-timer.
Well, after that, let's just roll right into the other women's match. Dre brought up earlier, Charlotte versus Rhea. Charlotte is being brought up as the face still. They're still trying to shove that into our face, that she's a face. I really think Rhea is being pushed to beat Charlotte here. Because Charlotte can go off and go do other things, but I really think the build-up is to give Rhea the title here, and she gets that win finally over Charlotte at Wrestlemania. Excuse me. If I didn't mention, this is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Yeah. I mean, I like I said, the feud I feel like is I don't know. I feel like it's one-sided. I feel like Rhea has she's the one who has a lot more to risk than Charlotte, even though Charlotte has the title to lose, but Charlotte has won so many, It's like Charlotte can take this loss, but Rhea has so much to gain from this. She is the face of Judgment Day. Whether Finn likes it or not, I feel like she is the face of that stable. And this is just going to elevate her even farther. Dre, do you think Rhea's going to walk out as the SmackDown Women's Champion, or do you think Charlotte's going to retain and continue on?
I think Rhea is absolutely going to win the title. I believe that Charlotte was basically plugged in as a placeholder, more or less. Because I don't think they had much confidence in Ronda Rousey being in a WrestleMania match with Rhea Ripley. Even though Rhea Ripley could probably carry her, they probably didn't want to go that route, since they already probably had plans on, pushing Ronda in another direction. So, and Charlotte was back, and they knew they wanted to put the title on Rhea Ripley. I believe they had long-term plans of her becoming a champion at WrestleMania for months ago, but they needed somebody for her to lose to, and the perfect person for them to do that would be Charlotte Flair. Bianca's the champ on Raw. They don't want to take the title off of her, and as much as they may have wanted to do a Rhea Ripley versus Bianca match, which I'm sure they will at some point, again, I don't think they wanted to do that at this WrestleMania and pit those two against each other. They kind of want both of them to win. So that means that means Rhea had to face somebody on SmackDown, and they need somebody to do it. And Charlotte Flair fits the bill perfectly, because she's a top tier wrestler. She's one of the top women on the roster. She can work as a face or a heel, even though I personally think she does heel better. And it gives a Rhea Ripley a quality opponent to face when she in a WrestleMania match. Mm-hmm. So to me, yeah, it's almost no question that Rhea Ripley's going to win this match and become the SmackDown Women's Champion. And then from there, gonna be some dog days for the women on SmackDown because I don't see nobody on that side that can fuck with Rhea Ripley.
Very true. Very true.
Which does lead me into some long-term fan booking that I think, excuse me, that we could see happen some months down the line, possibly.
Mm-hmm. Doyle.
Yeah, you kind of look at both women's matches and say, do you think that both titles are going to change hands, or do you think neither titles are going to change hands? So we kind of, I think, all came to the conclusion that Bianca was going to retain, right? That means probably Charlotte's going to lose. And, I think they were smart to keep Rhea Ripley away from Bianca for the time being, because that's like a fucking banger you can have down the road at some point, and if we expect them both to be hopefully around for whatever 8, 10, 12 years, they're going to be going head to head for years to come, so that's something to look forward to. But Ripley's really interesting because she's a heel and a heel stable that's closely aligned with the fucking heeliest of heels, but she's getting face pops, really. And Charlotte's a natural heel, but they're trying to, as you said, shove her baby faceness into our face, right? So I kind of hope, and I know it's not easy to do, they kind of pull the double turn here, where Rhea will turn face and Charlotte will turn heel. Mm-hmm. But then I don't know where that leaves Rhea in the Judgment Day. And that kind of depends, I guess, on what happens with Dom and Finn. Mm-hmm. But, say they both lose, and the next night on Raw, she goes, "Oh, you guys are both losers. I'm done with you," and that's how she breaks away or whatever. But in doing that, it seems kind of heely, right?
Right.
I'm not sure that would really accomplish what we're trying to accomplish with her. So that's kind of the Judgment Day of it all is the only thing clouding my vision here. And not because I don't think Rhea's going to win. I think she is. I just don't know what they're going to do with her going forward. And like Dre said, the fucking SmackDown Women's Division is fucking bleak, right? But I think they're supposed to be doing their draft in a couple of weeks, as they always do. Yeah. So that'll be a chance to kind of switch things up a little bit and maybe get some more contenders over on that side, even things out a little bit. But that's farther down the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I don't see them switching Rhea up to become a face. I see her remaining a heel, and she's just going to be on SmackDown giving them girls the blues for some months on end. Now, what I could see happening down the line is, again, this is fantasy booking, but Bianca Belair stays Raw champion on SmackDown. She's a babyface. Rhea Ripley, champion on SmackDown as a heel. I don't know if I said Bianca is a champion on Raw or SmackDown, but what y'all get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Bianca Raw Women's Champion, babyface. Rhea Ripley SmackDown Women's Champion, heel. What if some months down the line they decide to, along with consolidating the men's world title, suppose they decide to consolidate the women's world title, and they have a unification match involving champion versus champion, winner take all, Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley for the unified women's or WWE women's title.
Right.
I could see that happening, maybe even at something like SummerSlam. I would say as early as SummerSlam, but maybe sometime in the fall, depending on how long they want to drag it out. And then, that's a huge match, an absolutely huge match, and it's a way to get the title off of Bianca Belair in a way without making her look too weak, or without making her lose the title in a way that's befitting her run as champion.
Yeah.
And then continuing a further elevation of Rhea Ripley as this woman to be feared by all in this narrative that she's been pushing in her promos. Again, fantasy booking on my end, I think it would be pretty dope to see.
All right. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. All right, let's move on to Austin Theory, the United States champion, will be versing John Cena. The build-up has been pretty decent. It's actually been, they had that one interaction recently, Cena and Austin Theory, but since then it's been kind of one-sided. He recently beat Montez Ford in a match on Raw. Besides flubbing some lines, maybe Austin Theory, I don't know. Do you guys? I feel like they might put him over Cena. Because if Cena, let's say hypothetically Cena wins the title, right? What is John Cena going to do with the United States title after WrestleMania? How long is he going to stick around? The guy's got a bunch of other stuff to do. Now, a win for Theory over John Cena, that's a huge win for that kid. That would elevate his career greatly. And there's always been a lot of talk the past few weeks, especially Michael Cole talking about, they mentioned about John Cena being maybe too old. Can he do this anymore? They're treating John Cena like an old man, which kind of upsets me because he's not an old man. Not yet. He may be balding, but he's not an old man yet. I mean, John Cena, I still think has a lot of gas left in the tank. I mean, Jesus. But yeah, it's weird, but I kind of feel like they're going to give the win to Austin Theory. Dre, do you agree? Do you disagree here? Do you think they're going to give it to such a young guy, such a big win on his career at WrestleMania?
I agree that yes, they will. Mm-hmm. John Cena, and this match is for the title, correct?
Yeah, for the title.
Yeah. There's the fact that they even made it for the title pretty much telegraphs that Austin Theory is going to win, because it makes no sense whatsoever to put the title on part-time John Cena. Mm-hmm. There's no reason whatsoever for him to become a U.S. champion. He doesn't need it. He's not going to be on WWE programming past WrestleMania. So I don't even know why they even bother doing that, other than the fact that he's the champ, and if he's wrestling, it must be for the title. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's obvious the fact that it's a title match that Austin Theory is going to win, and then moving forward, he'll get to brag about how he beat John Cena at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So that kind of telegraphs it all. The only suspense in this to me is how good of a match will John Cena be able to pull off as a part-timer. Because he looked pretty doggone rusty at the end of last year in that match. So has he been putting in some gym time? Has he been, or some ring time? Has he been getting his timing back? Or is he just going in here cold turkey and just going to make it happen? Mm-hmm. That's the only intrigue in this for me. And obviously what direction Austin Theory's character goes after this, given what Cena said in his promo about how Theory's in a lose-lose situation, whether he beats Cena or not.
There you go. Doyle.
John Cena is 2 years older than me. I kind of really don't enjoy talking about John Cena as an old man. Anyway, let's talk about Austin Theory's beard. I mean, what the fuck, dude? He looked like so much more of a douche with that Van Dyke shit he had before. Like, as a 40-something that can't grow a beard, you know what I do? I don't grow a beard. Like, and that's what Austin Theory should probably get that message. Like, dude, it looks fucking awful. It looks like you got a fucking squirrel on your face. That shit's got to go. Anyway, but yeah, like everybody has said so far, if Theory wins this, he can hang his hat on this for a while, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's right up there with Chris Jericho beating The Rock and Stone Cold on the same night to become the first undisputed champion. And, it's Brock being the 1 and 21-1. Beating big match John Cena at WrestleMania is one of those things that character can talk about for years. Fucking Miz is still talking about how he main evented WrestleMania. He beat John Cena at WrestleMania, right? Mm-hmm. And how long ago was that?
Yeah.
So this is the kind of thing that foundations of careers are built on. And I think he's going to be, whether you like him or hate him or love to hate him or whatever, this is another guy. I don't think he's going to be as generationally awesome as I think Bianca Belair is going to be. But I think he's going to be in and around the main event picture for the better part of the next decade. If he wants to be, or if he doesn't go to AEW or whatever comes next after that or whatever. I think he is going to be a guy that's going to be around for a while. I think he's got all the tools. Coincidentally, though, if John Cena were to win, it would be his 6th reign as U.S. champion. He would tie Ric Flair for the most of all time. But I think Theory's going to go over, as he should.
Mm-hmm. Carlos.
Yeah. Well, I believe that Austin Theory should be the one that's going to win this match. I mean, just like we all said, it was pretty much telegraphed once it's for the belt what the outcome of this match would be. Has John Cena had time to work on his timing? We don't know. Has he been filming other stuff along the way for Hollywood, James Gunn, or anything like that? I believe, not for James Gunn, but I believe he is working on a movie. So I don't know how much time he's been able to have to do both, train, and he's got to keep his physique, but he also can't be like too swole like he was like Super Cena when we knew him back in the day. So this match could probably not run that long, maybe 10, 15 minutes. And it's got to be it'll probably be one of those. It won't be a clean decision. It'll probably be like something. Either Austin Theory pulls on the trunks, to get that roll-up win, or foot on the ropes to get that extra height elevation on the pin. But I think they'll have not a clean finish, so maybe give it a real good match somewhere along the line, either to Saudi Arabia, depending on how this match goes. Mm-hmm. Or maybe we might get something at SummerSlam, but I don't see John Cena winning, but I don't see him actually going away, because it seems like he still has a little bit more left in the tank, like we've all said. So maybe this will be like one of those stop and start feuds where he disappears for a little bit and then he comes back like some villain, like, we thought he was dead. Oh, no, he's back. Where'd he come from? Type of things.
I could see a universe where Cena wins the title and then the next night on Raw does the deal where the debuting, whoever we said, re-debuting Randy Orton, Zack Ryder, Braun Breaker, whatever, comes and wins the title off of him. But then what does that do for Theory? Nothing. It just buries him, and I don't think that's the direction they're going with him.
What if we get the re-debuting of the spinner belt?
Stop. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
You stop.
Oh, God. I was never a fan of the spinner belt had its moment. The United States definitely had its moment, and it left when it was supposed to. The WWE spinner belt stayed way too fucking long. Way too long.
That shit was definitely a product of the 2000s in that super bling era. And it can stay right the hell there where where it's at.
I agree, man. I totally fucking agree. All right. Moving on. Edge versus Finn Balor. I'm getting what I wanted. I'm getting the Hell in the Cell match that I wanted. But we're gonna step it up a notch, and we're getting the Demon Finn Balor. First ever heel Demon. So I'm expecting less red, more purple. You know, in his paint. I feel... Here's the thing is when Balor is the Demon, he barely, if ever, never loses as the Demon. So, but Edge is kind of at home in Hell in a Cell, you know? This is kind of his place. This is kind of where he makes those memorable moments. I just don't feel like the build is there for Finn Balor to beat Edge. Although I could see at this point everybody from the Judgment Day maybe walking away with a win from WrestleMania, and that would be big for their stable because a win over Edge for Finn Balor would be great. But I know Edge kind of needs to wrap this whole Judgment Day storyline up finally, and it would just make more logical sense for him to be the guy to win this feud here. But I can't argue with the idea of Dominic Mysterio, Finn, and Rhea all walking away from WrestleMania with W's. You know, Dre,
they've done a good job setting up. Yeah. They've done a good job setting up matches where multiple matches have multiple things to do with multiple other matches. You know.
Yeah. Dre, who do you think's going to come out of this match with Finn versus Edge? Well, the Demon Finn Balor, I should say, versus Edge. I guess that might make a difference here.
Whether it's Demon Finn or regular Finn, it didn't make a difference to me. I still see Finn Balor getting the win in this. Mm-hmm. Edge is still, for the most part, kind of part-timey. He's just more consistent than, a Roman Reigns type, but he is still kind of a part-timer who's on his way out. So his purpose should really only be to, push the other guys up and elevate the other guys. And if this is going to be the finale of Edge and Judgment Day, then it seems pretty obvious to me that the Judgment Day is who should come out on top. Ergo, Finn Balor coming out on top as the leader of the stable. It damn sure wouldn't do any good for him if he lost and then Rhea shows up as champion on Monday Night Raw and Dom shows up presumably having beat his dad. And then Finn Balor's the guy who took the L. So that ain't going to do him no favors. So yeah, Finn Balor's leader of the group. I still think he's primed for a pretty substantial singles push. I could see him being in the world title picture and facing Cody at a PLE sometime this year as well. So he's definitely probably going to get the win over Edge in this match.
Doyle, go ahead, Doyle. Doyle,
I did it.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. I think I said it before, but that promo by Edge on Monday was really good. And, as we know, I don't typically enjoy his work. But I think we're definitely going to see the Brood Edge, which we just saw last year. I feel like this match is going to get lost in the shuffle unless there's some just insane spot like Mick Foley off the top of the cage, kind of crazy shit. Otherwise, I feel like this is going to be just totally forgettable, regardless of what they really do. And I really like Finn Balor. John Cena. You talk about Edge trying to put over people. John Cena's 2 years older than me. Finn Balor's 2 years younger than me. He's not a spring chicken, let's just say.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's going to get any kind of slingshot trajectory by going over Edge, I don't think. I think he could still even find his way back into the world title scene post Roman Reigns ever relinquishing without too much work. Even with a loss here to Edge, I think Edge is going to win. I think this is a feel-good, babyface goes over kind of match. Now Edge is, I think, on his last legs, and I think he's gonna. I mean, I think he'll lose a retirement match to somebody, I think, or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I don't think this is the spot where he's putting over the quote-unquote young guy. I think Edge is going to win.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Carlos.
Yeah, with these guys, it has to be one of these things where this feud has to end. Mm-hmm. And the only way it's going to end is with Edge winning. You know, to me, Edge has been, he started Judgment Day. Mm-hmm. Finn took it away from him. But to me, he really hasn't cemented himself as the leader of the Judgment Day. It's always been to me like Rhea. Rhea's been kind of like a faux leader, like it. The only person that's had the most success has been Ripley, out of all four of them. You don't even what's his face? I'm losing his name right now. But he doesn't have a match right now.
Damian Priest.
Yeah, Damian Priest.
He's kind of. I was kind of curious that he might be another one that's just unfortunately just thrown into the Andre the Giant Battle Royal if they have it, and if they do, he could definitely be a contender to win it. I see somebody like him winning just to get that W. So across the board, all of Judgment Day could walk away with W's, but. I mean, we still got 2 weeks. Who knows? It just sucks. Somebody like Damian Priest has nothing to do. Just like Solo Sikoa, I feel like is another one. Got nothing to do.
Well, they'll both be accompanying somebody.
Exactly. They'll still be there. Yeah, they'll still get a paycheck, but ain't no none.
What's an appearance fee?
Yeah,
paycheck
really.
As opposed to actually having a match. Mm-hmm. What's the difference in the paychecks? But I feel like Priest has been like the most consistent one out of between Dominic and Finn, out of those three. Yeah, Dominic's starting to come his own. He's finally beginning to dig into that heel character and kind of have like flashes of Eddie, but also trying not to emulate him too much. Mm-hmm. But Damian deserves some type of shot, So I think Edge is gonna get the win here. We said with the Rhea Ripley one, like Ripley's gonna be Charlotte. If all these guys lose, which we don't know how, because I've been hearing that Rey Mysterio is probably not calling it quits after his match with Dominic if we get one this year. Mm-hmm. So do her and Dominic just go off and just separate themselves from Damian and Finn, because they're the ones that are bringing them down while they're still trying to rise up and be more successful to them. Mm-hmm. So as much as I was a big fan of Finn before, when he was in New Japan and when he was in NXT, but him having that bad break of getting injured after he won the Universal Championship, mm-hmm. Just kind of set him off on the wrong path, and he hasn't been able to recover. Trying to find something that works for him. So I hope that Finn is able to find something, but just to have this feud end once and for all, I feel that it's got to end with Edge coming out on top.
They both need to move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Doyle, you brought up something interesting, though, about when talking on the prospect of Edge winning. And I think it was you who mentioned that Edge had, with basically Rhea Ripley, has been the most successful member of the faction so far. What if Edge does win? Rhea Ripley is champion. Finn Balor has taken the L. And what if Rhea Ripley takes the reins from Finn Balor as the leader of the group, and they kick Finn Balor out of Judgment Day?
The irony, right?
And then we get Finn Balor rejoining up with his old Bullet Club guys
Very nice.
in AJ Styles' absence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if Jay White is really coming into the company,
that's another one. AJ Styles. I totally. Oh yeah, go ahead.
They'll call it the Bang Bang Club or something stupid.
Yeah. I know New Japan still owns the Bullet Club name, right?
Right.
Don't they call it the OC?
Yeah, the OC. I totally forgot about AJ Styles.
Which it is. It's just gonna look cheesy. It'll look wish.com-y, right?
Yeah. Okay.
It would look if they called it the OC?
Yeah, they call it the OC. No, yeah, right?
I mean, that's what they call it now. But I was about what part of it do you think looks wish.com-y?
Well, I just mean it's not the Bullet Club. That's all I mean. I mean, it's just not. It's not the same. It's clearly a pale imitation. It's just it has to be by nature. Because they're not going to do the Bullet Club. That's all. I mean, it's just like when they did the NWO. Of course, it can never be the NWO. It just can't. It's not possible. And so, no matter what they do, it won't be it.
Sure. Not.
It could be great. It could still be great, but it just won't be it. That's all.
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying that they just reformed like the Bullet Club. I'm just talking about just that connection that he has with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And if he links back up with them, that'll get a pop out of the fans.
Oh, no doubt.
And if you want to set Fowler on a face path, that'd be the way to do it. And then even him and when AJ Styles comes back from injury, AJ and Finn could be a tag team.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I would like that. Let's talk. I got some breaking news while we were recording. The Masked Singer is on, and revealed to be the latest Masked Singer is WWE superstar Alexa Bliss. So if you haven't watched The Masked Singer, she was on the recent episode tonight. And it is Wednesday.
Yeah, well, that explains why she ain't been on TV since the Rumble.
Yep, there we go. We answered our own question earlier. Yeah, and I did forget about AJ Styles. I can't believe I totally forgot about AJ Styles. He's been out with an injury. Hopefully he comes back soon as well. Yeah, moving on here. Let's see. I'm trying to just go from terrible well, not terrible, but I'm leading up to main event matches. I should have started the show with this. I did hear rumors that it was requested by him to have his match kind of earlier in the night so he could leave as soon as it was over. And that is none other than Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar apparently requested to have his match earlier in the night so he could just up and leave as soon as it's over. Doesn't even want to hang around. I don't know if he's just sour about not being in a main event match this year. Now he's going against Omos. The build has been lackluster. I'm not excited. This is another bathroom break type of match. Something that Vince came up with. It seemed like we're going to get Brock giving him the F5, and that's going to be the highlight of that match, I think. Brock's going to go out winning. I don't think they're going to give Omos the win here. Omos could barely topple Bobby Lashley at the time. So, Dre, this match you're definitely looking forward to? You gonna party on? Excited for this one?
Oh, match of the night right here.
Oh yeah, 5 stars.
Match of the night. Y'all ain't even ready for what Omos is about to do. I'm calling it right now. Omos defeats Lesnar with a missile drop kick off the top rope.
Shooting star press.
No, this is just one of those why matches.
For why?
Why is this even happening? This feels like Vince McMahon. That's what this feels like. Like Vince got up in there and said, you gotta have the big guys on the match. You gotta put these giants in the ring and have them collide with each other. Because what other purpose is there for this? Nobody gives two shits about this match. Lesnar doesn't benefit from winning. Omos doesn't really benefit from winning because they've shown they ain't got no direction for this dude to go.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that they don't use this as an excuse to reform the Hurt business with MVP and Omos at the center.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the route that they go. This is just, like you said, this is a bathroom break match.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really think of anything that they could even try to throw in this thing to spice it up or try to get any kind of pop out of it.
Mm-hmm. Doyle, I know you got your Omos shirt on. Tell us why you were so excited for this match.
Well, I went through the 7 stages of grief about this match. I'm actually at 6. I don't know that I'm going to get to 7, but I did shock, then denial, then anger, then bargaining, then depression, and then acceptance. And then the 7th is hope. And I don't think I'm going to get there. I think I'm just going to settle in at acceptance. And like I kind of said with those the 4-way tag matches, the showcases, they can't all be main events. There has to be some downtime. There has to be a bathroom break match. It has to happen. And this is one of them. I actually really liked the video package they put together on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing the size of Omos's fist and that kind of thing. I thought that was great, but they compared it to other all-time big man clashes, right? And they didn't show the Big Show, of course, because he works for AEW now. So automatically, whatever list you're going to give me is incomplete. But they gave us Hogan and Andre, which is maybe the most important match in the history of the company. I don't think this is on that level. They gave us Taker and Kane, maybe the greatest feud in the history of the company. I don't think it's on that level. And then they gave us Kane and the Great Khali, and I said, maybe. This is not going to be a great match. It doesn't really have to be. It just needs to be two big, huge dudes throwing each other around. And that's all it really needs to be. In terms of who's going to win, I think Brock Lesnar wanted to be done 4 years ago. They just keep throwing money at him, and he keeps saying, okay, I'll do it. I think he's content to go wake up every day at 3 a.m, cover himself with deer piss, and go sit in the woods with a rifle and wait to try to shoot an animal. I don't think he gives a shit about professional wrestling anymore.
Right.
I think he wants to be done. And I really am telling you, I could see Omos winning this match. He beat Bobby Lashley, for Christ's sakes. I think we forget that. Like, he has beaten people before. And I think I erroneously said that he was really young in a previous episode. I think I said he was 23 or 24. He's 28, which isn't that much older. But I think they still think there's something in it. I think they think there's still a there. I'm not so sure I agree with them. But I could see Omos winning this match, and I'm going to go for it. Omos wins.
Wow. Carlos.
Yeah, what? I could see the way that you can book it as Omos winning. Just because he needs some type of redemption after losing to Braun Strowman, who is the monster among monsters since he beat Brock.
Yeah.
Horrible.
So, I mean, it's only fitting that, or since Braun beat Almost. So if he beats Brock, then by order, I guess, since he beat the Beast, then Omos will have the right to challenge Braun for the title of the monster among monsters. But that's the only way you're going to be able to kind of slowly try to rebrand him as an unstoppable force if he beats the guy who's been the unstoppable force before. He beat Taker, Streak. He's, been pretty much doing his own thing, and no one's been able to, put the Beast incarnate down for good. So this is their chance. If they get the right booking in this match, that they can actually give almost a fresh, clean slate, because no one's going to remember that he lost to Braun or would even care.
Right.
Because Braun is not a big name as we have for Brock. So if they can pull this off, they can still kind of redeem Omos and slowly try to build him up. And it has to be, something where it's got to be a clean finish. You can't have the Hurt Business, which we've seen little hints here and there of them coming together, but that's kind of stopped recently.
Yeah.
Since Bobby Lashley does not have a match and is trying to find ways to get on WrestleMania. So who knows? But if they bring in the Hurt Business, I think that would actually hurt almost more than help.
Right.
Because then you have that whole little thing that he wasn't able to beat him unless he had the Hurt Business. So he needs to have a clean and decisive win. And if they do it right, then we might have a new pecking order in the WWE.
All right, interesting. Match of the fucking night here. All right. Well, we only got a few left here. Trish Stratus and Lita with Becky Lynch versus Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. The women's tag team titles, which are on Becky and Lita, will not be on the line. I kind of thought we kind of thought differently. Well, I at least thought differently how this match would turn out. But I guess they just decided to make it a 6-woman tag match, just plain and simple. It's good to see Lita back. Trish Stratus out of retirement. Her last match was against Charlotte, believe it or not, where she was technically retired. But money talks. Against, Damage Control. So, I feel like they're going to give the win to the faces here. It's just a matter of what happens after WrestleMania with these characters. I don't see them holding on to the tag titles long. So, I just don't know who they would drop them to now that we don't have Ronda and Shayna. I assume that was originally the plan. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we could see a Trish and Lita heel turn against Becky, for all we know, at the end of all this. But, faces going over on this. Dre, who do you think is going to go over on this 6-woman tag team match?
This one I kind of don't know. Because you brought up the possibility of a heel turn, and there has been speculation that Trish Stratus might undergo a heel turn and end up feuding with, I think they said possibly Becky Lynch. But I don't know how I feel about for lack of a better term, our old legends being heels if they weren't traditionally heels throughout their career. Now, granted, I know Trish Stratus did have a heel run during her time in WWE, and she was damn good at it. She's just as good as a heel as she is a face. But once you become a legend and you're that that retired or semi-retired legend that fans just cheer for and want to cheer for every time they see him. I don't really like taking that away from the fans and making that person a heel. I prefer to let us appreciate our OGs and for what they've done for the business and the few times that we get to see them come back for us and compete in the ring. Let us enjoy that. Mm-hmm. Don't make us boo these characters. So I hope they don't go that route. I would suspect that this would probably be just a typical make the fans happy match and have the faces go over so they can celebrate. Trish, Lita, and Becky Lynch go over in the match. We get the babyface celebration, and then after that, you figure out some way to get the titles off of Lita and Lynch.
Right. All right. Doyle, what are you thinking about this match here? This 6-woman tag match.
You look at this, and this kind of looks like another bathroom break kind of match.
Right.
Except that half of the participants, for me anyway, between Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Io Sky, are 3 people whose work I really, really, really enjoy. Trish and Lita are both part-timers, legends, if you will, whatever. And Dakota Kai is perfectly competent. Don't get me wrong. I don't dislike her. But I really, really like Becky and Bayley and Io. So I think that this should be a perfectly fine match. I think the baby should go over it. It should be one of those feel-good, matches. I don't think it's going to set the world on fire, but I think it's going to be very competent. I think they're all pretty talented. I hope Lita and Trish know their limits. And yeah, I think it's going to just kind of be there. It should be fine, but I think the babies go over. I don't know. It'll be one of those things you remember for years to come, but it'll be a match that'll happen, and I think the babies are going to win.
Let me just call you out on one thing real quick, Doyle. You said that this seems like one of those matches that would be a bathroom break match. Sir, never in my wrestling lifetime have I ever gone to the bathroom while Trish and Lita were in the ring, and I ain't about to start this damn weekend.
Hey, fair enough.
Yeah, good call.
Just wanted to put that out there.
It sucks that the tag titles aren't on the line. Like they're just meaningless. And we've talked ad nauseum on this podcast about how stupid they are.
Agreed.
And we talked about unifying the women's titles. And if they did that, give us 2 mid-card titles for either program. Get rid of the tag titles, and I think the women's division would be all the better for it.
Exactly.
Carlos.
Hopefully they do it. I gave them the blueprint. I pitched the idea.
Has somebody been forwarding this program to Triple H?
Yeah, that's right. Or Triple H is a listener. Never know. Trips.
Well, no, you'll know because you'll get a cease and desist letter for using his intro at the beginning of the pod.
Yeah, that's very true. Carlos, with that
would he
said,
get it from them or would he get it from
Really, if
Motorhead?
I let you do it, I'm going to let everybody do it.
Very true.
I just can't have it.
Tonight, I am sending you a cease and desist. You can't use my music.
I got 2 words for you, buddy. Suck it.
Yeah, with this match, it's going to be one of these, WrestleMania moments for the divas of the past. They were the innovators. They were the ones that pushed the envelope forward for the not the divas, but now that's transitioned over to the women's division, type of thing. But without them wanting to get better, especially Trish at, performing in the ring and, working on her character, and Lita already, with her lucha background when she came in with Esa Rios and, just continuing to harness that and perfect that more when she got paired up with the Hardys. Mm-hmm. So those women didn't get the chance to have these type of moments where they could shine and still show off their skills and everything. And now it's kind of lining up right where, you know, they can still go, but they need help. And that's why we got this triple threat match, or, you know, three 6-way or 6-person match. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be one of these things where who else can take an L. Bailey can take an L, and Io can take an L, and Dakota can take an L, and nothing will happen to them. You know, they've lost the titles twice, and they're still being put up there as, you know, one of those credible threats, not only to you via, you know, in a tag team match, but also in single matches. So it's going to continue, probably from what I've been reading with Becky, and I think there's a rumor where Becky and Trish want to have a match.
Right.
Later on, it's either at SummerSlam, or if not SummerSlam, somewhere else. I'm not sure what pay-per-view comes in. We got Backlash. Maybe it won't be at the Saudi show. So it has to be SummerSlam, I think, is what they're going to try to build into. So now, if that's something they're looking at, the question is, how do they make that conflict happen? Does it happen? Does you spread the seats here, or do you sprinkle it in here, or do you set something else along the line where either Trish accidentally causes Becky and Lita to lose the belts,
right?
Or because you still got that history, even though they say they're best friends, quote unquote. You know, in real life, I know they are, but you know, in kayfabe type of thing, you know, they always been finding ways to get at each other, or you know, do little things to trip each other up because one gets jealous of the other. So, does that come into play in this match, or does it come into play when the belts are on the line? So, for WrestleMania, we're going to get that happy WrestleMania moment for them. But I'm interested to see how they drop the belts, who they drop the belts to, and where we go from here.
Yeah, it'll be pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure that Lita and Trish are going to stick around a little bit longer after WrestleMania. Obviously, Lita, because there's a title involved, but I feel like Trish will stick around a little bit longer. Moving on. Let's talk about the Usos. This is recent. We finally got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to reunite, right? And like we kind of speculated for a long time now, the Usos are going to put their tag team titles up for grabs for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I feel like this is finally the moment where they finally win gold together, and we see that long tag team streak finally end. Although WWE is kind of weird, they can throw us a curveball and have the bloodline retained, or at least have the Usos retained, and maybe Roman loses. But I think it's on the cards. I think we're gonna get what we want. We're gonna get the pop that they deserve. We're definitely gonna get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn walking away with all the gold. Dre, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think this is the match that will probably close out night one of WrestleMania. I know there's been some back and forth about which match would close out night one, whether it would be this or the Charlotte Rhea Ripley match. I think they're going to go with this one because I think that they want to bookend both each night with the Bloodline, since that's been their most engaging and predominant story going for the last year plus. So this is going to be my anticipation that it's all going to come to a head at WrestleMania. This is going to be the climax of it all. This will close out night one, and we'll end night one with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens holding up the titles, celebrating, crowd going apeshit nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we close out night one of WrestleMania with them as the champions. I think this is going to be a really good match. I think there's going to be a lot of emotion in this match and a whole lot of storytelling in this match. They've really been leaning in with that in the last couple of for the last few months in the storyline with the Bloodline. Like every time they've been in the ring with a key character, we've got not just a good match, but we've gotten a lot of storytelling in it. Mm-hmm. So more so than anything, that's kind of what I'm interested in this match. I'm already certain that it's going to be a good match, but I'm curious to see what kind of story they tell us throughout the match before we get to the conclusion or the climax of KO and Sammy winning.
Doyle, you this build up, what's it have you feeling? Because I kind of popped the reunion of Kevin and Sammy this week. So how's this feud going for you? Who do you think's going to walk out?
Let me tell you. So I was on vacation, as I mentioned.
Yep.
And I didn't get to see this until I was on the plane on the way home, and I knew what was going to happen. But I still disrupted all the other first-class passengers by going, yes! when it happened. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Sammy and KO winning, we've seen this kind of, we've seen this match coming for months, right? Mm-hmm. We just kind of didn't know how they were going to get there. And that's been the fun part, filling in the blanks, figuring out how it all fits together, because we knew what the end result was going to be. We just didn't know how the ingredients were going to get mixed up, right? And the logical conclusion was that Sammy and KO were going to win the tag belts from the Usos at WrestleMania.
Right.
But is that a foregone conclusion? I'm not sure that it is. And I feel like there's some things that are maybe even spoiler alert kind of things about wherever the match ends up being on the card that will inform a lot. And like I said before, you had all those Judgment Day matches that are kind of interconnected. These two Bloodline matches are interconnected, right? Mm-hmm. So, is it the first thing on day one? Do you bookend WrestleMania with the Bloodline story? You have it first, and you have it last with Cody and Roman, obviously closing out night two. Or is it the main event of night one? Do you close both shows with Bloodline stories?
Right.
Or is it right before the Cody and do you go with an hour and a half of Bloodline or an hour of Bloodline or whatever it is to close WrestleMania? I feel like wherever it ends up being but you get in your own head. Oh, if the Usos lose, does that mean Roman's going to win? Or if the Usos lose, does that mean Roman's also going to lose? Or if the Usos win, does that mean Roman's? You just spin yourself in circles. But like Dre said, this needs to be more than just a match. It needs to move the story along after all of this stuff, mm-hmm. right? So, will there be interference? Are there going to be any turns? Will Sammy turn on KO? Will KO turn on Sammy? What about the Usos? Will they turn on each other?
Right.
Who knows? Where's Solo in all of this? I feel like every time we talk about the Bloodline story, where's Solo in all of this is the question you always got to ask. And I loved him getting right in Cody's face and blah, 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 and he still didn't say shit. He did no change of expression. Kid didn't break character. I was really unimpressed with him at first, but he's really grown on me. I think that kid's good. So these matches all inform each other. And, I thought it was a foregone conclusion that Sammy and KO were going to win the tag titles from the Usos, and I'm not so sure now. And I guess I'll talk more about it, I guess, when we talk about the main event. But I think the Usos might win.
Yeah. Dude, that'd be rough. That'd be very, very, very rough. I don't think the crowd will be happy at all if the Usos win, but it's a fucking possibility. Yikes. Carlos.
Yeah, I've actually been subscribing to this whole theory that the Usos still retain. And it's kind of been like one of these things where it's kind of like theorizing, where do you think the storyline goes next?
Mm-hmm.
Like to steal a line from Cody, finish the story. So
right.
What is the story of the bloodline? Is it that Jay finds a way to finally get over on Roman and take over as leader of the bloodline, or free his family from Roman away from the bloodline?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it, that eventually that they lose and Roman just gets rid of them, Jimmy and Jay, and just keeps Solo around, because Solo is the muscle, and he really doesn't seem like he has any type of mind of his own type of thing. He just does whatever Roman says, no questions asked.
Right.
He tells Paul Heyman, hey, these guys get to go have tilapia and shrimp, and you get to stay back with me. So, it's going to be a good match, obviously, because these guys have all worked with each other before in some type of capacity. And as I would really like for this match to end with Sami and Zayn winning, Sami and KO winning, but a little piece of me doesn't want that happy ending. It wants to see where the bloodline story is, because that's, to me, been the best compelling story arc that's been happening for the past 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a top 5 all-timer.
Yeah, so now it's like, this is what, like, grandmas and moms back in, watching Days of Our Lives have been like, oh no, what's going to happen next? Oh, I can't believe an evil twin just popped up out of nowhere. She has amnesia. So now my thing is, where does it go? Where does the bloodline go? And if, we get that happy ending, I'll be happy, but a little piece of me still going to be wondering, where does it go?
All right, guys, we got 2 matches left here on the card. This one's listed as a night 1 match. All the other matches we discussed were TBD. They really don't have a night picked for them. So far, night 1 has Seth freaking Rollins versus Logan Paul. And then the main event with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes is for night 2. But, Seth freaking Rollins versus Logan Paul. I feel like Seth's going to get the win over this. I don't think it's going to benefit Logan Paul, because I feel like after this, he's going to be gone for a while. I actually just saw a TikTok video recently talking about how much money Logan Paul owes people. So he might be cashing this check and heading out and doing something else. I see no benefit of Logan winning this. Give it to Seth freaking Rollins. I expect it to be a good match, though, overall. I mean, Logan Paul does deliver. He is brutally hated right now. I mean, he has all the heat he's ever wanted. I don't know who hates him more, or who's hated more right now, him or Dominic. So yeah, give me Seth freaking Rollins for the win. Dre.
Has Logan Paul won a match since his first one with The Miz? I think every match he's had since then, he's lost.
Yeah.
Granted, he ain't had many, but...
He had the Roman one. He lost. What is the other match he had? Because didn't he get hurt at that Roman one?
Yeah, I think he did get hit.
Didn't he have another match before the Roman match? He had the match. He had the WrestleMania match.
He had one against The Miz, but he also had one.
He had one with him and then against him.
Yeah, against the Mysterios.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, he really hasn't had that many. He's only had 4 in total.
Right. Yeah, I thought he was 1-3. Maybe he's 2-2. I don't know. Either way, I feel like for some stupid reason, they're going to put the win on Logan Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Because, as I've said before, Seth Rollins has demonstrated the ability to take L's and be unaffected. Mm-hmm. His character is damn near immune to losing in terms of it negatively impacting his character. Now, I personally want Seth to win because I don't give 2 shits about Logan Paul.
Right.
And also, I prefer to see if it's a case between a part-timer and a full-timer, I'm always going to prefer the full-timer, unless that part-timer is The Rock. But I would like to see Seth win because he can, make the most of it moving forward, or just be done with it and move on to something. Either way, I feel like he's moving on to something afterwards. But I don't know. I just feel like they're just gonna make Logan Paul happy and let him get a win over a significant WWE star.
Doyle,
I don't really have any other rationale for it.
Yeah. Doyle, how do you feel about Logan Paul beating somebody like Seth freaking Rollins at WrestleMania?
Well, and I think I've said as much on this very program. I was kind of starting to like Logan Paul's gimmick, where he's just like a dude that does other shit and just does pro wrestling as a hobby, and he can kind of take it or leave it and whatever. Like, I was like, I kind of like the direction they were going with that. I thought it was kind of cool, actually, even though I don't really care for him. I thought it was a good gimmick, in the same way that I thought, the $1 Million Man was a good gimmick.
Right.
But, man, that promo on Monday was just fucking brutal. Like, he can talk in front of a crowd, and that's no small skill. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
He can do it, but I don't know. I don't know how much of it was his fault, how much of it was the creative, whatever. But it was just, I don't know. His jokes weren't funny. His timing was off. It just wasn't good. I think Seth should win in as much as he doesn't need a win, but he does, but he doesn't, but he does, but he doesn't, but he does, but he doesn't. And yeah, I don't think we're going to see Logan Paul again for a little while anyway. It doesn't really do anything for him. I kind of feel like Seth needs a win, even though he doesn't, but he does,
Right.
And I think there's going to be a lot of key heel victories at this WrestleMania. So I think a chance in this match to put a baby face over, I think they're going to take, and I think Seth is going to win.
Carlos, who do you think's going to win, man?
Yeah, I think Seth is going to manage to get the W here. Just because, Jake Paul, or, excuse me.
Logan Paul?
Give me a second. Sorry about.
Yeah.
I had something stuck in my throat. Sorry. But, with Logan Paul, it seems like Drake tried to bring up his record, that he's able to, work with whatever the bookers have been able to give him. If he needs to go out there and put on a show, which, he's shown that he's been more than capable of, especially how he came back into the Royal Rumble and they did that whole, meeting in the middle of the ring off of those rope clotheslines there. So he seems like he knows what he wants to do, and I don't know what happened to him this past Monday, as far as trying to cut that segment promo type of thing with his impulsive show. Mm-hmm. But something wasn't hitting. I'm not sure if someone was trying to feed him the lines before or some type of changes. But I think if you just let him go like they've been doing before, he's proven that he can carry his fair share of the load, whether it's cutting a promo or in the match. So as much as it'd probably look good for him to get that win against Seth Rollins, that should be something that for me should not have to go to a part-timer like him, because are we ever thinking that Logan Paul's ever going to get a chance to actually carry the strap?
No.
Hell no.
No. They almost gave him an opportunity at Saudi. Like, he got title shot, but I don't think that guy is good for business for when it comes to holding a title down.
Yeah, no. Exactly. And I think that whole Saudi thing was just because they were just, trying to hype up, and they couldn't find anyone to have Roman Reigns go up against. I don't know, my memory's shot to shit now as I'm getting older. But I don't think they had anyone at that point that could have hyped them up, could have hyped up a fight in that short amount of time that they had. Because I think, what would we have gotten? Another Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns for like the 5th or 6th time? Mm-hmm. So it was a good refresh for Roman and, Logan to have that match. And they gave him a good amount of confidence in order to them to have it. And, that was a pretty good little feud that they had, even though it was like a kind of like a one-off. But Logan Paul showed that he could actually hold his own as far as going back and forth with Roman Reigns, which not a lot of people have been able to do recently. But I think Seth Rollins pulls this off.
All right, the last match on the card that we know of. Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman versus Cody Rhodes for a singles match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship to end his, oh God, I don't even know how many days he's at now, like 900 and something. Like, pretty fucking impressive. I feel like they're going to definitely give it to Cody. I mean, how many times have we predicted over the year that maybe Roman's just going to drop it to said person and it never happens? But I think this is the most believable. To give it to Cody, and then Roman Reigns can probably is going to take some time off, to be honest. The guy's been I understand he hasn't been at every Raw and every SmackDown, but he's been a goddamn workhorse since he's had that title around his waist. So it would be nice to see him take some time off. And hopefully when we get these two titles, either they eventually separate them altogether, or we get one new title. I really don't give a fuck which route we go at this point. I'm just tired of seeing one guy hoard two titles when there's plenty of other superstars out there missing the opportunity, to compete for at least one of them. I think this is going to be a great fucking match. I think there's going to be a lot of fucking moments we're going to remember here, and I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Cody Rhodes holding up both of those titles. Dre, do you agree with me, or do you think Roman Reigns is going to walk out still the champion?
If I had to put money on it, I would say Cody Rhodes walks out champion. Mm-hmm. That's the route they've kind of been on since they brought Cody back. That's been where the momentum has been going. Mm-hmm. That seems to be where the money's at. I think ultimately it depends on... I think Triple H is still undecided in terms of which direction he's going to go. I think it kind of hinges on one thing. Do they want Roman Reigns 1,000 days as champion?
Mm-hmm.
Do they want that? If that's something that they want to celebrate at some point, then clearly Roman's going to win. But if they don't care about that, then to me the logical choice is that Cody wins and walks out as champion after night 2 of WrestleMania. Right. There's also been a story that Roman Reigns is possibly going to be taking an extended leave of absence after WrestleMania. So that also lends some credence towards Cody winning, and kind of feeds into the promo that Cody cut this past Monday, talking about Roman losing everything and everybody leaving him and walking out on him afterwards. Which, if the final chapter in this Bloodline story is that everything collapses and falls apart at WrestleMania with everybody losing their belts, then that would also be consistent with Roman possibly taking an absence and him being written off of television as a result of this, and being gone from the scene for a while, leaving the Usos and Solo to pick up the fallen pieces or what's left of the Bloodline, or try to carry on or soldier on without him, or what have you. But yeah, the Bloodline, for as beautiful as this storyline has been, as captivating as it has been, it's been, as we've already said, the best storyline that the WWE has had in years. Some of the best storytelling that they've done in years. Not even close. But it has to end at some point. And something of this magnitude, something of this significance, something that's been this dominant in WWE, it's only right that something like this would end at WrestleMania. You don't end something like this at fucking Backlash or Money in the Bank. So this is it. This is the finale. This is where it all comes to an end. And for my money, Cody Rhodes is going to walk out of WWE of WrestleMania as the new WWE Universal Undisputed Champion. And hopefully they consolidate this shit into one damn belt afterwards.
Yeah. Doyle, you feeling the same?
I am not.
All right, let's hear it.
Dre, you said if you could put money on it. You can put money on it. Cody Rhodes is minus 550, 2 to 11, and Roman is plus 325, 13-4.
Wait, so who approves sports betting on WWE? Because I've heard that a lot of the sports bookers have been resistant to allow betting on WWE.
Oh, they let you, but there's like a strict limit on it. You can only bet a couple $100. They won't let you put it's not like the Super Bowl. They won't let you bet $5 million on it.
So I knew WWE's been trying to get into the sports betting business for obvious reasons, but last I heard that nobody really wanted to fool with them like that, given how
they're trying to legalize it like football is legalized. Only certain places will give you action on WWE. But they do release odds. I have them pulled up right now if you want the odds on anything else. Right.
Oh, no, I ain't putting no money on this shit. Even though stuff like this would probably be easy money.
Yeah.
Given how predictable WWE is.
Well, is it though? Anyway, Wayne, to answer your query, we're 934 days with the Universal title. And 352 with the WWE title.
Well, look at that. Doyle once again delivering.
But, it seemed like a foregone conclusion that Cody was going to win for all these months, right? But I'm not sure it is anymore. It's hard to see a world where both the Usos and Roman Reigns lose their titles, right? Because, would Sammy, KO, and Cody as champions form some kind of anti-bloodline faction or something?
Right.
That sounds awful, frankly. So like, I'm sorry to bring it back to KO and Sammy, but it's all connected, you know. I kind of didn't really like the booking of the Sammy and KO reunion involving Cody, because like, unless they're going to turn Cody heel somehow, which I doubt they'll do, I'll circle back to that. But like, I didn't like the way it played, where Cody was the one that got Sammy and KO back together, because like, Sammy and KO main evented the last 2 pay-per-views, but now they're in a tag match. Like, it's a step down. Granted, it's still really high on the card, and it's really important, but it's a step down. It kind of makes it look like Cody is the one pushing them down the card, which I think would work if they turn him heel, which, again, I don't think they will do. But, because he could say, like, look, I played you two like fiddles. I needed you both out of the way so I could have my own clear path to the championship. You know, if they wanted to twist it like that, which I don't think they will. At the end of the day, Dre, you said that you think the Bloodline story is going to end. I think, why? Let's keep it going. And really, I still think, somehow, some way, I think Jay should be the one that ends up beating Roman, wherever the fuck it ends up happening. Something's going to happen there with Jay. You see on Raw, Roman said, I love you, and Jay didn't say it back to him. Something's going to happen with Jay. Somehow, some way. I don't know. It's all connected.
Doyle's on the bandwagon. Yes.
I got my tinfoil hat on, and I think Roman Reigns is going to retain.
Dude, that would be crazy if Roman Reigns retains. The amount of fucking heat. But we've seen it before. Carlos, who you thinking, man? Are you also on the Roman Reigns train?
I've been pushing that thing where I want to see where it goes. I want to see Hunter go to Chat GPT AI and enter, how do I end this Bloodline storyline? Because they need, like, so I've said in the previous match preview with the Usos, I want to see how this goes. They've set up so many things with this, you know, especially like when they started the Bloodline and Jay was the one that wasn't on board, and Roman made him do all these things, and then eventually he broke down. It feel like the only way to like not only fulfill that story from beginning to end, as far as, you know, getting closure on Jay's part, is to have him either be the one to beat Roman or be the one that causes Roman to lose those belts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if it's gonna happen here, though. As much as, you know, Cody has improved himself in pushing himself as, you know, to get better, you know, by traveling the world, going to New Japan, and doing stints over there and other, well, starting AEW and things like that. But he when he started that, he hindered himself by, in one of his promos where he's like, I'm not going to push myself to be the top guy. I'm not going to be like Jeff Jarrett and give myself the title. Why would you ever say that on TV?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that pretty much like stunted any type of growth his character would have had at that time, I think, in my opinion. If he wouldn't have said that and he just would have been like keeping it kayfabe and just like telling stories with his character and building rivalries, I think he probably would have been still over there. You know, I mean, I don't think we've ever would have got Cody back because he probably would have got that title run, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But everyone was like, either you're going to break your promise or you're going to do something else or you're going to leave, which he eventually did. But I don't think Cody right now is the guy, because there are some times when he shows up on Raw And in certain cities, he gets that loud pop. But in certain other cities, there's cheers and his music, and no one's not really singing along that much to his songs. In certain, like, I guess, like where the smart marks primarily can hijack a show, where they don't really buy into Cody, so they're not really singing along like a casual fan or Mark would do. So.
Well, there was speculation that Paul Heyman promo with Cody came about because they were afraid of the Sammy chants while Cody was out there. So they sent Heyman out.
Yeah, and I read that too. And like, obviously, they're trying to protect Cody, but it's eventually got they pushed towards this match. This is where we're going at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if this was something that was written in his contract or things like that he would, get a shot at WrestleMania. But now we're here, and now we got to see how it goes. But I would really, if Cody wins, then that means we're nearing the end game of the Bloodline. Right. Whether it happens there, or it happens at Backlash, or it happens at SummerSlam. But we're nearing the end game, and we're going to see how it goes here, because I don't see how they would be able to stretch that out for another WrestleMania event at WrestleMania 40. So, as much as I don't want to see it happen right now, I think Cody wins, but it's not gonna be a clean win. It's gonna be some type of interference, either with Sammy and KO, or Jay finally realizing that he needs to take down Roman and take over.
Yeah, see, I hear what you're saying about them being in the end game. I think we're already there for the Bloodline. There really isn't much left for them to do. So I think we're kind of already in that end game. And to your point, Doyle, about Jay being the one to take down Roman, Jay can take down Roman without the title being involved. I could see a scenario where they've lost their titles and Roman is infuriated about losing the titles, and now he's just, bossing everybody around, pulling everybody around, making it all about him, like, get my titles back. I have to get my titles back.
Right.
Who gives a shit about y'all losing your tag titles? It's about me and my titles. And then Jay having the revelation, like, hold up, you ain't the champ, bro. We ain't got to put up with your shit no more. And then you get a Jay Roman match, maybe, if Roman doesn't go on hiatus following WrestleMania, but you get maybe a Jay Roman match where Jay finally does stand up to Roman and put him down and kick him out of the Bloodline. And maybe Jay becomes maybe the Bloodline continues on with Jay as the new, quote, tribal chief or whatever, or as the guy, or maybe the Bloodline just ends. But I can see Jay being the one to send Roman packing, and I don't think the titles have to be involved for it to happen.
Well, let's not forget one name that we used to talk about quite a bit several months ago when we used to speculate about WrestleMania. And we went back and forth. And that guy's name is The Rock. What if The Rock comes out at the end of all of this? Maybe Roman wins, The Rock comes out, says, WrestleMania 40, blah, 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 blah. And they get to that match somehow, which we've been speculating about forever. And are they, or will they, or won't they? We've been will you or won't they in that match for ages. So maybe that's a WrestleMania 40 match. And whether or not the titles are still there by then is another matter. But I still can't rule out The Rock appearing somehow.
I'm off on that. Once the stories came out that pretty much confirmed that Rock wasn't going to be there because he got too much going on, especially like he does legit have too much going on right now with the XFL being his focus right now and all that. Yeah, I'm out.
A match, but
I mean, again, I don't think he's going to appear at all, and it doesn't seem to. It would seem kind of pointless for Rock to go out there just to show up at the end of a match and tease a match a year out. Yes, they did do that already with him and John Cena, but that was done post WrestleMania, where they set up the match for the following year. It wasn't done immediately after the one WrestleMania while it's still on the air. Like, hey, this WrestleMania has been a great show. Boom, here's your main event for the next WrestleMania on this WrestleMania. That just seems like a bit much and kind of taken away from the moment of, Roman winning.
Oh, I'm just throwing it out there. It's a crazy possibility.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still want a Rock Roman match to happen.
Right.
And I still want it to happen without any titles being involved, because I don't think a match like that needs titles.
Right.
I just don't see anything happening regarding it at this year's show.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, the only other match I can think of that's not on the card that we could definitely say that's going to happen is Rey Mysterio versus Dominic. Other than that, I really don't have any other matches that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that we're going to have Dominic go over, beat his dad, and his dad's going to go in the Hall of Fame this year. And there's also rumor that he might also be done with wrestling after this year. So if his last match is against Dominic, then, that could be it, for us, for Rey Mysterio. So I guess we should take it in while we can.
Yeah. I don't think this is going to be Rey's last match, but I definitely think this will be Rey's last year.
As like a full-time person on the roster.
Yeah, it shouldn't be his last match with so little build-up as his last match. Rey Mysterio, I think, deserves the Ric Flair treatment, where, his last match is like a fucking big fucking deal. It's not something that gets announced 1 week beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
The importance of Rey Mysterio really cannot be underscored. He is probably the most important professional wrestler of the last 30 years. The innovation, just him bringing the lucha libre style to prominence at all in this country. It really didn't hardly exist. His importance, shifting from these giant monsters, which everyone had to be in the 80s, to quicker, slicker, better moves, high flying. He begat all of that. Mm-hmm. And it really can't be understated. I just wanted to say that. I still don't think my idea where Dom interrupts the Hall of Fame speech is off the table.
For sure.
Just this matchup. I think that really is a possibility. Mm-hmm. And Dom, man, has he improved on the mic, especially. I really love his silly I've been in jail fucking gimmick.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's so funny. Oh my god, it's so funny. I didn't think he had it in him. I don't know how. I still am not really sold on Dom the wrestler, but the other stuff, he's got the promos. He's so much better, so much improved, so self-aware and funny. Mm-hmm. Really well done. I wouldn't also rule out maybe this turns into Dominic and Damian Priest versus Rey and Santos Escobar as a tag match. I don't think that's off the table either.
That would upset fans.
But I think Rey would win this match, ultimately lose the war, ultimately lose a retirement match or some kind of thing like that deal to put Dom over. But I think he would win this first clash. and I think this is kind of just the beginning, or maybe the beginning of the end of their feud, and not the end. The end.
Yeah, I could see if this is going to be a match that they do more than once. I could see Ray getting the win the first time, putting his son in his place. Son, you're not ready. You're not there yet. I could see that happening. What I do not want to see is this match get booked at the Hall of Fame ceremony. I hope they don't go down that route. I hope they set this match this upcoming Friday at SmackDown when the Mysterio family is supposed to be there, and maybe the wife gives him the blessing, like put him in his place, teach the boy a lesson or whatever. I hope they book the match then.
The wife and the sister to get involved somehow.
Yeah. I hope they just book the match then. Don't do it at the Hall of Fame ceremony. The Hall of Fame ceremony is supposed to be outside of kayfabe. It's supposed to exist outside of the storylines. It's a night to celebrate our icons, celebrate our legends, put kayfabe to the side. Don't bring it into the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Dre, I gotta tell you, I love the reverence with which you ascribe to the WWE Hall of Fame. It's really beautiful. A made-up Hall of Fame and a made-up sport, but
sure.
I love your commitment to it. I really do.
Sure, I get it. It's not real and all stuff, but nevertheless, the ceremony stuff is what it means to the fans, what it means to us, the fans. That stuff is still very much real. It is still the night that we celebrate these people and their careers, and it has pretty much for its existence, as far back as I can remember, been absent of kayfabe. People who normally, people who are about to kick their teeth in, people who are about to kick each other's teeth in the very next day are sitting next to each other in the ceremony, clapping it up and everything. So,
Taker was never there because they didn't want him to be seen out of character, so he always sat in the back or whatever. They never showed him on camera. Yeah, I mean, sure, they did ascribe a certain amount of kayfabe to the Hall of Fame ceremony. I'm legitimately, I think it's great that you're so gung ho on the Hall of Fame. I think it's good.
Could you imagine that they had like a physical Hall of Fame, like a place that you could go and visit and see, like old wrestling gear, or just a physical Hall of Fame. Yeah. Like
they talked about doing that in Orlando, and of course they had. Do you remember the World in New York, Times Square?
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Oh, you went there?
Never forget.
I think they had a ton of memorabilia, like a Hard Rock Cafe kind of thing, but for wrestling there.
Right.
But yeah, I think a physical Hall of Fame would be cool. I think it would be cooler if it was like, how like every couple years King Tut comes around to the local museum or whatever, or there was I went to a Marvel one. Before the pandemic, you go to these museums, it's very immersive. I think pro wrestling history would make a good one of those.
Yeah, like traveling Hall of Fame.
Traveling roadshow type thing.
Yeah, yes, exactly. There's a big brass Andre the Giant hand, and you can
and the trophy. That's what they could do with the trophy.
Yeah, sure. And you could show boots and robes and tights and belts and huge photographs and
that's true.
Maybe there could be a ring set up and maybe you could run around and bounce off the ropes or whatever.
I'd pay money for that.
Hornswoggle comes out from underneath and you get to wrestle him.
Yeah.
I mean, WWE's been collecting all of this memorabilia. This classic memorabilia for all these years and stuff.
I think it's a traveling show.
Do something with it.
Yeah, it just sits in a warehouse.
If it sat in one place, it would be a waste. I don't know if they would get enough traffic.
No,
but if you did a 2-week event in Chicago,
right?
Or Philly, or Boston, or New York, or any of the big wrestling cities.
Well, just WrestleMania weekend alone, you could bring in a lot of fucking people.
That'd be too much already. Because you already have like the WrestleCons following WrestleMania weekends. And then you have all those indie shows setting up also to have their shows. So I think that'd probably be too much. But yeah, just like maybe I was going to say maybe a couple weeks out of the, they come to, the major ones.
Yeah.
That they, major cities. Or if not, if they could try to legitimize themselves a little bit more by getting a little bit closer to one of the sports ones, like either going out to Canton to be by the NFL or out in New York. I forget where that one is for the baseball one.
Right.
Cooperstown.
Cooperstown.
Yeah.
And so, it's something that, you could probably make a whole day out of it and go visit, things that, whether it's the first steel cage match, and there's the bars, or it's like, like Doyle said, Andre the Giant's, big handprint somewhere, or, Brutus the Barber Beefcake scissors, the window that Martin Jannetty flew through. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to try to set up in a singular location because one thing about those Hall of Fames, what helps them work is the fact that they are in basically these small, remote locations that nobody thinks of for anything other than that Hall of Fame. Like nobody thinks of Cooperstown for anything but the Baseball Hall of Fame. Nobody thinks of Canton for anything other than the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So, is there a city like that is synonymous? That is so synonymous with professional wrestling that it could be a place that WWE or somebody could set up a Hall of Fame type location. I mean, I can't really think of one off the top of my head that isn't already a major city. So that would be kind of difficult.
Talked about it in Orlando for years. Orlando was always, because that's of course where the
WWE Performance Centers they already have connections to
Orlando. And Orlando is like a tourist destination, where you come to go to touristy shit, like WWE Hall of Fame. But I think a traveling version would be better.
Would be better. Yeah, I'm kind of on that same vibe. I think a traveling roadshow would be better. It doesn't have to follow the WWE and go everywhere it goes. It can be its own independent thing where it goes wherever it wants to be. And like you said, it can set up shop somewhere for like a week or 2 weeks before moving on.
Right.
And doing that. And then obviously wherever WrestleMania is held at, it's going to follow that because it's WrestleMania. So they're going to bring it in for that week.
Makes sense. Bring it in for the Royal Rumble and Survivor Series and that kind of thing. Sure.
Yeah. Maybe some of those. I would say just specifically WrestleMania. I would let it stay on the road, all the others. But WrestleMania, given that is the big event that it is, and WrestleMania is basically a week-long event in that whatever town that it's in, they usually have other activities and stuff going on prior to the show itself.
Access or whatever they call it.
Yeah. All that stuff. It makes sense to bring in, the Hall of Fame Roadshow and to have it set up at, some smaller adjacent arena or whatever. To wherever you're hosting the venue, hosting WrestleMania at.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. You're absolutely right. And you might as well monetize that shit. I mean, if they're paying for it to sit in a fucking warehouse,
Right. Like I said, make some money off that shit.
Yeah. I mean, have you watched that show where, I can't remember, where they go and they find people that have the robe Ric Flair wore on Starrcade 97, whatever.
Yeah. I don't remember the name of the show, but I've seen the video clips of it. That's exactly what I was thinking of when I was saying, like...
Just all kinds of stuff like that. They could display, like I said, I went to a Marvel thing like that, and they had, like, issues of whatever number...
Yeah, they had Cap Shield.
But they also had, like, original sketch of whatever, and it was like a museum exhibit.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, you go to the King Tut one, which I feel like I've been to like 7 times in my life. or these there was like they did it. I'm not into
Harry Potter.
They did a Harry Potter one.
They did one for Jim Henson.
Yeah, sure, exactly, like that kind of thing. I feel like it could do that.
Yeah, the WWE could absolutely pull that off, and it shouldn't cost them a whole lot of money other than just transporting the stuff, preserving it, setting it up, and maybe even if you're in a certain town that one of your former stars is at, get them to show up and have them maybe do a panel, do an interview with them, where they get to talk about their days on the road. Maybe they share some personal memorabilia that they may have of their own as well.
Make an autograph and
right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, can you think of any other matches they might throw on this card that we may have missed? I can't think of any others.
No, I can't think of anything else that they would be working on. Unless they do like one of those things like they did with KO and Stone Cold, where it's like an impromptu Miz TV because he's the official host type of thing, and then they set something up where he calls somebody, and then they have one of those impromptu matches right there.
Yeah, that might be how you could involve Lashley if he has nothing to do. They could do something like that, where he comes out and he just beats the fucking tar out of the Miz.
It's possible. Whew. Well, that's it, guys. That's all I got.
All right.
Yeah, you guys got anything else you want to add before we roll on out of here? No? All
Go watch Vikingo versus Omega. That match was freaking awesome. It's the last 25 minutes of Dynamite. If you don't feel like watching anything else on Dynamite, watch that.
There you go.
If you've never watched Vikingo before, you need to watch it.
Well, Carlos,
it's not wrong, kids.
If people want to reach you, where can they reach you? What do you want? Do you want to plug anything?
Right now, I'm not on anything else. I am working on something, but until it's like solid, I won't talk anything else.
Okay.
Just because I don't want to jinx it. But if you need to reach me and attack me for any of my wrestling thoughts and views, I'm on Twitter at Tokes. That's TOKZ_21. If you're on Discord, I am on the PCW Discord and the PCL Pop Culture Leftovers Discord as well. And if you're going to be at C2E2, I will be there along with all the Pop Culture Leftover peeps that are coming in.
Oh, shit. That's awesome. Doyle, what do you got to plug, man?
I'm on a professional wrestling podcast called Podcast Championship Wrestling. I am in all the social media groups and Discord groups associated therein. Other than that, you can find me smoking a cigar and walking my dog after the show.
Nice. Dre, my man, where can people reach you? What do you got to plug?
Man, I ain't plugging shit, but these Halls cough drops, goddammit. No, I'm joking. Y'all can find me in PCL or PCW Discord under the name Outlaw Star. Holla at me.
Awesome. And yeah, you can find me just about anywhere as Semi-Dry Chicken. If you want to join our Discord, just reach out to me on Twitter and I'll add you to the group. We might come back. Well, we definitely will come back for WrestleMania Night 1 and then WrestleMania Night 2. We're going to end up breaking up into 2 podcast episodes because it is long. Just us reviewing just predictions here went pretty long. Imagine us reviewing each individual night, trying to do them all together. It's ridiculous. So just like, WWE, we're going to break ours up into a 2-part series. So...
Well, it is a shorter card than they've done since the advent of the 2-day WrestleManias.
It is true.
If we get Ray and Dom, I think that makes it a clean 13.
Yeah.
Whereas we've been going 16, 18, 19 the last couple of WrestleManias. So, like I said, maybe it goes in with trimming the fat a little bit. where we're gonna give maybe some of the we're gonna give the matches a little more time to breathe, and maybe have less bullshit, and maybe that's to the benefit of everything. So good.
Hopefully so.
Absolutely.
We don't want any people cheated out of any type of finishes or matches just because they had to hurry up with the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, exactly. That's historically happened, or matches have even been cut, altogether because something went over. And if we're just gonna let everything breathe a little bit, like that might be refreshing actually, to not have like, blah, 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 and that's where you get the, Repo Man versus Brutus the Barber Beefcake for nothing. That as the third match, so maybe this will be good for everybody if we kind of 6 and 7 or whatever it ends up being 7 and 6. That might be a good change.
Some decent bathroom breaks in between,
Yeah.
So yeah,
well, you
absolutely.
can take a bathroom break when they spend 7 minutes telling you all the stuff that happened up to the
recap before the match.
Jesus Christ.
God. Oh, no. I want to see the recap for Brock Lesnar versus Omos again.
And his name is John Cena. Give me what I want. Give me what I want. Ruthless.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Oh yeah? Well, screw you guys. I'm going home.
Bye. Have a great time.